Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Night Owl, a show that we do twice a week where we discuss all the latest in pop culture news, TV and movie reviews, gaming news, and just the general conversations of the day. For those that don't know me, I'm Price of Reason, and with me, as always, is my co host, Professor R2. How's it going, Professor?
Oh, going all right. Now that my computer is up and running. Sorry for the delay, everybody. I came downstairs and thought, hey, I ran all my updates earlier today. I'm good to go. And then my computer was just like, no.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. It happens mostly like with PCs. I will say that since I started using more Mac, it does it a little
Yeah,
less.
it doesn't seem to happen as much. I'm pretty much a 100% Mac user myself, and I'm on a Mac right now. But yeah, I ran some update earlier today, and then when I came downstairs, it was like,
Oh,
nope,
wow.
sorry, something happened, and I'm like, okay, whatever. So I had to
That's
go through the whole
strange.
whole reboot again. Everything's fine now, but something I don't know, something weird happened when it was trying to do the reboot. But I'm
'Cause if
here.
you have,
I'm
like,
here now.
Microsoft, it's a nightmare. It's like every 5
Oh
minutes, it
god.
wants to do that
Uh,
weird blue screen with the circles.
yeah. Oh, believe me. Yeah. Having worked many years in doing tech support, working in IT in different areas, people would ask like, "Why do you use a Mac? You work in IT. Why would you use a Mac?" Because I worked in IT, and when I went home, I wanted some sanity. And I wanted things to work. I didn't want to have to spend all my time fixing the damn things because that's all I did during my day when I was working in IT. So, yeah, people can complain all they want. They can complain about the Apple tax or whatever. I've never owned any computer that was as reliable, as solid as the Macs that I use, and I've dealt with both Microsoft and with Apple and warranty issues and stuff like that. And trust me, Apple is 500 times better than having to deal with
Yeah, I mean, they're
Microsoft.
expensive. They're expensive, but at the end, I can sort of understand why some people would pay more. For years, I
Yeah,
tried to avoid it, but I don't I still have a PC, but I also have a Mac, and I find myself, especially in the kind of stuff that we do, I find it, more reliable. But, speaking of reliable.
speaking of reliable, Microsoft laid off 9,000 people from Xbox. Oh wait, no, we'll get to that later.
We'll get to that. That was speaking of Microsoft. Speaking of
Yeah.
reliable, Congress passes Trump's one
Yes.
big beautiful bill, and yeah, a lot of it has been said about this bill. He wanted it to pass, and the Republicans made it happen. But this was the exact bill that caused the rift between him and Elon Musk. And in general, there are a lot of people that don't like things about this bill. What's your general sentiment when you think about this bill, Professor?
I mean, myself overall, I'm okay with it. I think there were a lot of priorities in here that s- were things that have been talked about by Republicans, by Trump for quite some time. I think, as far as trying to keep promises, and that's been something is that they made during the campaign, that's been a big priority, I think, for Trump, and overall, I think this bill is a good thing. There's definitely issues. There's definitely things to nitpick about it, but for the most part, at least, if someone who's looking at the priorities that we should have as a nation and how we think about that, honestly, I think it's a pretty good deal. So
Well, first of all, as the Phobos for $1, he gave a Rumble rant, and he says Apple Silicon has made Mac a better value proposition. I agree. I do think that chip of
yes,
theirs does a really good job, especially if you're doing kind of multimedia editing, things like that. I do think that whatever Apple has going on now is pretty good.
Yeah, the Apple the upgrade, the change over and move over to Apple Silicon was a huge change, and a lot of people were deeply concerned that this was going to be a major problem for them. But it's been nothing but winning since day one, showing oh look, here's the Intel processor. Oh, and look, here's what this Apple processor can do, and it would just blow it out of the water. It was incredible. And yeah, the performance and the reliability of it has been really solid ever since. And now they're getting to a place where uh, so technology news. Apple, interestingly enough, is investigating making a Mac desktop, or laptop computer. Probably they do tend to focus more on laptops, that is going to run simply on an iPhone processor. And so they'll be able to sell it for maybe even $100 or $200 less than their lowest priced item right now. The real focus of that would be education, getting into, replace Chromebooks in a bunch of different places. But that would be really solid for a lot of people. Most people don't use their computers for more than browsing the internet, like
Yeah.
it's about all they use it for. And the iPhone processors are so overpowered compared to what you really need to do with those things floating around in your pocket, that yeah, if we could take one of those, make a cheaper laptop for people who don't want to spend the big bucks, I think that would be a big win. So
I agree. I think that would be clever of them. The Highlander says, as a music producer, I only use Mac,
yep.
would never consider something else. I understand. I also make music, Mr. Highlander. And yes, I think that I've used PC to make music, but there's something about the reliability and that it doesn't crash often that's kind of nice about Apple. And I can understand why people would want to use it. And as for Trump getting his bill passed, I think there was something that I think like Hakeem Jeffries was trying to filibuster it. Was he trying to just talk for like 70 hours or some weird thing?
Yeah, he talked for 8 hours. He had a speech, and they said, "Oh, it's record breaking." Whatever. I don't really care. Literally, the whole point was just a delay tactic, and there was nothing else there. And grandstanding, of course, can't be a politician in the U.S. without some grandstanding.
Right.
So yeah, that was odd to me, that like an 8 hour. Why would you this is gonna pass. There's nothing that you're going to say that is going to change this. Once they were able to break down some of the barriers with the Republicans who were over there, the Tom Tillis and some of the others, whatever, that we're talking about, not supporting the bill. Once they were able to break down those walls and start talking and figure out how to bring them on board, there was absolutely nothing that Democrats were going to be able to do to prevent it from passing. So, yeah, it really, so, like I said, it was just about the grandstanding. There was nothing else there that was really the point. So,
On
we
a more positive note, I
yeah,
just wanted to share this thing. Give me a second. I
yeah,
gotta
and we
pull
do
it
have
up.
some gifts over on
Yeah,
YouTube.
I just about to share them.
Oh, okay,
Let's found a new way to do this,
there you go.
which didn't work as well as I'd liked. The dead man poop emoji for 99 cents. Thank you for that. As always, it's the Phobos gifted 5 Price of Reason Live gift memberships. Very kind of you. You were active on the Rumble side a few seconds ago, and now you're here. It's the Phobos is he's like Michelle Yeoh in that movie. He's everywhere
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
all at once, yes. And he's even better than that movie, which in
Ah,
my opinion was overrated. But it's the Phobos isn't overrated like that movie, for whatever it's worth. I mean,
yep.
I don't dislike Michelle Yeoh, and I like Jonathan Kikwan. I like that guy. Oh, sorry, I think he calls himself something else now.
Yeah,
I
I
don't.
do think he just Kihoy Kwan. Yeah, is what he goes by now. Yeah.
Fine, whatever,
Yeah, it's
whatever.
whatever. Yeah, I
It,
remember for a while he was using a slightly different, Americanized name, but yeah.
it's fine. He can use whatever name he likes. It's his name, and he has the right to do that. In any case, I like that actor. I like Michelle Yeoh. Unfortunately, that movie for me was just very, very overrated. But Istafobos is the real deal, and I want to thank him. Then the Dead Man, a friend of the channel, gave 10 Price of Reason memberships. I kind of cut him off here, or more accurately, Professor is cutting off that, but you can all see that he did it. And also, the Dead Man, I appreciate everything you do for this channel. I don't take it for granted, and it always, is great. It's okay, Professor. You didn't have to run away, but yeah. So it's great. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it all. And a
Yeah.
lot of people are benefiting already from this kind of thing.
And
We've got
the dead man gifted 10 memberships, and he got one of those 10 memberships. So congrats.
yeah, that's the best when you give a gift and you get back a gift from the gift that you gave. That makes any sense. So then we have I'm trying to see. Mars Monkey Max received a gift membership. Istophobos got no. Istophobos gave them. He didn't need one. I'm trying to see. I can't see all the names, but I know that some people got it, and I think it's wonderful. So thank you guys. It's really cool. And back to what we were talking about, I guess with Trump. So Hakeem Jeffries, there was something that he was blabbing about, but I saw a lot of people saying online that he actually, made them feel like it was a good bill based on how he was acting. Like he
Yeah.
actually, like, if people weren't sure when they saw him, they're like, yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah.
this bill is great.
There was one in particular. I don't remember who it was, but there was a member of the House who had sent out a tweet, a post on X or something, saying that he was not convinced about the big beautiful bill until he heard Hakeem Jeffries talk about it, and now he definitely is going to vote for it.
That was funny. I was trying to find that. Do you remember who said that?
Oh no, I don't. I really don't. But yeah, there was yeah, it was one of our representatives.
Oh, here it is. Here it is. This is
Yeah.
it. This is it.
Okay.
I think I found it. So you had this here, and I believe it's this. JD Vance says he just received this text from a Republican congressman. I was undecided on the bill, but then I watched Hakeem Jeffries' performance, and now I'm a firm yes. I think that's funny, actually.
He was saying some stuff about like, oh, what you are voting for the biggest border enforcement thing in history or whatever like that, or you're voting for more deportations. People were like, yes, that's exactly what I want. Can we vote yet?
Let's see what he says here.
Effectively, in Medicaid as we know it, gut parts of the Affordable Care Act. What you essentially are doing by stripping health care away from the American people, effectively.
I don't know why this was the thing that he put. Maybe it's this here.
Speaker, that's not what this country should be all about. Manu wasn't the only one. The only American citizen who's been targeted by the deportation machine, a deportation machine that will be unleashed on steroids by this one big ugly bill.
Yeah, that was the quote. Yeah.
We know that, in fact, is the case. That's not.
And this, I guess, Charlie Kirk was saying, Hakeem Jeffries is officially the one big, beautiful bill's top salesman. Deportation machine that will be unleashed on steroids when the bill passes. Yeah, I mean, I like that he's always Temu Obama or discount Obama. I think it's like funny.
Yeah. Well, and you can see how it took him 8 hours to deliver that speech. He's pausing almost as much as he's actually speaking through half of it. It's ridiculous. But I mean, there's a lot of stuff. Obviously, it's a big bill. So there's a lot of things that are actually going to be part of this bill. So if you look, I mean, there's different sources. We could look at the White House. We could look at some other sources. But first, let's say tax cuts and tax reforms. So part of this is going to be a permanent extension of the 2017 Trump tax cuts. So the business tax cuts, individual tax cuts, and that were part of what was originally called the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act from 2017 during his first term. Those are made permanent, and that includes lower rates for individuals and families, right? And it also includes a larger child tax credit, which Democrats are always for that kind of thing. So the much discussed no tax on tips and overtime, that's going to be in there. We don't work for tips, unfortunately. Well, I guess sort of. You sort of do. I don't know if those count as tips, though.
I don't think it counts as tips, but yeah, I
we'll
know
have to
what you're
work on
saying.
that. Maybe we'll have to get a hold of somebody and see if we can get super chats counted as tips.
What's this SNAP thing that I guess a lot of people are, the more Democrats are complaining about? You know,
Oh, okay. Some of the other things that are going to drop out. So I'll finish up with the taxes real quickly. There's some other stuff that's going to happen with small businesses. It's going to change for how they can do different deductions with their taxes. Businesses are going to get to fully expense new manufacturing facilities. So that doesn't mean much to you and me, except that means that these businesses, if they build these new facilities, that means that now they can actually expense those as part of their business expenses, and so they can over a period of time, then they can fully write off those expenses. That doesn't go into their bottom line. It's a good thing for the businesses, especially if we're talking about wanting to bring manufacturing back to back to the US. There's going to be more exemptions for estate taxes and gifts, and they're going to change how things are itemized. This is what they've talked about as SALT deduction. So there's changes there. So changes on spending and Medicaid. So you mentioned SNAP. So the bill introduces work requirements, all right, for able-bodied adults without young children to receive Medicaid and SNAP, so food stamps. And then that removes eligibility for those programs for undocumented migrants. And that's the thing that people are
I see.
really angry about.
I mean, I'll tell you this, and this is something that I'm sort of conflicted about. Even with everybody saying, "Oh, the deportation machine" and all that stuff. I gave you that example that if there was kind of a small scale, that maybe there were some people here illegally with families and things like that, and especially ones that were trying to find a better life. It's not like I woke up one day in the morning and I wanted something especially like to happen to those people. I think that the problem is that what happened during the Biden years, where there was no border patrol, really. They just let anybody do whatever they wanted, and so many millions came here and overflooded the place. They created this really crappy situation. It's like I don't, as opposed to, sometimes I see people online, they're like, "Oh, that's what I voted for. I'm so happy." I'm not happy. I think that I'm unhappy that so many millions of people were let in the way that they were, and that criminals and things like that came in, and sometimes just people that have overwhelmed the system. That's the part that bothers me. But I don't get happiness. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if you're a criminal, sure, that I don't mind that if they evacuated you or whatever it is, or deported you. But if you're just some, like, poor guy trying to, you know find a new life or whatever, I don't take joy in that. Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I do feel like there's probably going to be some people from this whole situation that maybe weren't bad people, and maybe somebody could have helped them, or maybe they were seeking asylum. There's probably some good people that, because of the millions of people that did this illegally, that will suffer because of it. Do you get what I mean?
Absolutely. There will be some people who are here illegally. Well, let's make that clear. This undocumented migrants are not people who came here and are under under an order from an immigration judge for an asylum hearing, right? People who came here through various different programs and were brought into the country for, asylum, whatever, they are going to still get their day in immigration court. They're still going to get to determine whether they get to go or stay or whatever. We're not talking about them. We're talking about people who came here, they crossed the border, they jumped the fence, whatever, without actually declaring themselves, to say I'm seeking asylum or whatever. And also, obviously these are going to be people who are, violent criminals and so on, that are those that we're working to, that the administration is working to deport.
Hey, Scribe,
So
right? Sorry, go on.
yeah, he's Scarlet. So what? Yes, I genuinely understand. Yes, there are going to be some people who are probably good people. They're probably, they're just here to try and make a better life for their family or whatever. But on the other hand, having crossed the border illegally, not seeking asylum, not using various programs to get into the country, not using their normal immigration system, having crossed the border, they have broken the law. And if they want to get in line to be here through, whatever, legal means, then they've got to figure that out at this point. They have, just by the act of crossing the border illegally, they have broken our laws. And if we can't hold ourselves to those laws, then in what sense do we even have a country, right? So yes, I do completely get it. There are definitely going to be people
Yeah, I mean,
who are going to be caught up in this that perhaps have not done anything wrong other than, they crossed
I'm not
illegally.
making light. I really didn't like that millions of people came in here. When you saw those
Yeah.
videos of people just come in and do whatever they want, it was shocking. You know what I mean? It was just
Oh, sure.
it's something that when you have a country, you don't want that to be happening in your country. And like I said, there's a few issues here. First of all, I think for many years, this whole system of how people can immigrate here maybe could have been improved. You have some people, and I know people like this, that actually had to spend years getting the right papers, the right documents, the right visas. And in many cases, it cost a lot of money. It wasn't something that they just snapped their fingers and they got that. And that process was very difficult and it was a lengthy process. And they went through all of that because they wanted to do everything the right way. And then you have these people just like waltzing in here and getting all of these benefits. That's not right either. I think that there has to be, regardless of anything that's happening now, there has to be a one way to do this. Now, you could say, oh, maybe they're making it too difficult, or maybe they could be more understanding, but there has to be a system, and either everybody follows the system or they don't, and I prefer that they do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And you've got a lot of people who say, well, why not let them in? Oh, these are good people. They're hard workers. We need them here to take this job and take these jobs, whatever. First of all, I don't believe that. I don't believe that there are that many jobs of people that Americans are unwilling to do. I simply don't accept that premise. And the second thing is, well, these are just good people. We're going to bring them in. If you've never seen it, there's an amazing demonstration, and I just forgot the guy's name, but anyway, he's an economist talking about all the poor people in the world and the wealth that's in the United States and everything, and he does this demonstration with marbles, talking about like here's how many people we can support, and here's how much money we have, and here's all of these poor people, and if we just open our doors to every poor person around the world, it just it spills out everywhere. There's not nearly enough for us to simply absorb every single quote unquote economic refugee around the world. We
I
can't
agree.
do it.
I
We
agree. I
simply
agree.
can't. And while I want us to have a way I think having some kind of migrant, worker visa program that allows people to come in and work legally, and then their incomes are taxed, and they have a legal right to work for different businesses. I would be fine with something like that. I really would.
There are
Because then
countries.
there's going to be background checks on those people. We're going to know that they don't have criminal histories. They're not coming here to stay. They're coming here to work. You know what I mean? Like there's actually like a paper trail to make sure that those people are genuinely safe to be allowed in our country, should be allowed to work here. And then, again, maybe over, having had something like that, then over a certain number of years, maybe there is some sort of path for them to actually immigrate to the United States. But just saying, well, let everybody in, because we've got money. Let's take care of all these people. Don't you care about these people? Yes, I do. I do care about these people. I want them to have food. I want them to be cared for. But our country simply cannot absorb all of those people and care for them. It's unfortunate, but true.
Right, and people that even say, "Well, this country always had immigrants and things like that," and maybe some of that may be true, but I think that the amount of people that came in, and the way they came in, and the lack of vetting is so extreme that it's something that you can't just pretend that it didn't happen, and that's why what I'm saying is that I respect and I understand certain things that need to happen. I'm just saying that I don't take joy in it.
No,
I'm sort
absolutely not.
I
No, it's not something where I'm like, "Woohoo, get rid of these people." No, it's nothing like that. No.
No,
I have
I'm
great compassion for some of these people who live in these, you know, frankly shitty countries that are not taking care of their citizens, right? Sorry, Sean. But at the same time, it's simply it's a problem too big for us to actually be able to solve alone.
Istofobo says there's a ton of jobs that Americans are unwilling to do for slew wages, and those slews put real American workers out of business. I understand what you're saying. He's also saying, he was saying here, my family knows Lake and Riley's family, they all must go. That was an example for what happens when you have an open border policy and nobody has any kind of checks and balances, and that kind of stuff should never happen. I mean, I very much take seriously. I've always been this way, and this is regardless of any political party. I've always taken the border thing very seriously. I think that if a country has a border, there's a reason why it's there, and you don't want just people coming in that you don't know who they are, especially not in the millions. That was a big, big mess, whatever Biden did there. Now, I'm not going to say that there weren't messes even prior to Biden, that there weren't issues over there at the border, but I think that what happened in the Biden era was so over the top that it just, it became unbearable. And a lot of these people now, they're paying the price for whatever happened there during those years. And like I said, I don't take joy in it, but at the same time, I understand the situation, and it's just it's unfortunate that we have to be in this situation now. That's the way I see it.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Uh,
So, yeah, go
Price
ahead.
of Phantom Outsider, Price of Reason Live, Professor Artu. The only ones I celebrate being removed were those who were publicly celebrating being moochers and lawbreakers. No, of course. Let me add this, stipulation here. People that don't like America, that came in here, saying how much they hate it and they want to do bad things and they don't like the people here. That's a no-brainer. Those are like those I don't have any sentiments. You know what I mean? Those people shouldn't be here. And I'm not just saying if people came from this country or that country. In general, if you have like people like that living here,
Yeah.
I really, really don't like the ones that are here, even with visas, even that came here like as students and all that, and then they arrive and start like handing out like pamphlets of like D to America. That is a huge issue for me. I 100% support the idea that people that have come here just to sort of be troublemakers or say how much they hate this place and want bad things to happen, those people should not be here. That's a no-brainer. And also criminals, anybody that's like criminal and bad, whatever. Obviously, these are no-brainers. I'm talking about people that maybe weren't criminals and were just trying to make a better life for themselves, even ones that maybe didn't do it by the book. I don't take joy in it. That's all I'm saying in their case.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very complex issue, but on the other hand, like I said, and kind of like you were saying too, like there shouldn't be any joy in this. Oh, we're chasing out all these people. It's not about that. It's not about trying to cleanse our country or any sort of nonsense like that I've heard from some people. They, as you said, like during Biden, during his time in office, they basically opened the borders and said, "You're all welcome. Anybody come in." They gave them an iPhone app so that they could expedite bringing them into the country. They were flying migrants into the country, paying for flights, flying them in, giving them iPhones when they got
It was
here
a
and
disgrace,
cash.
an absolute disgrace.
And the reality was that, yeah, there probably were quite a few people who came in seeking economic asylum, whatever, who were in terrible situations, families that were, in bad situations in their home countries, and were simply just trying to find a way to get out, trying to find a way to get to the US so that they could make a better life for themselves. That's true. But what also happened at the exact same time was you had tons of countries, especially in South America, who just opened their jails, opened their asylums, and said, "Leave. We will drive you to the United States."
Yeah,
And
yeah.
sent all of those people, criminals, mentally ill, all kinds of people, just sent them to the United States because they knew, okay, well, we've got someone here who's just going to let everybody in. So here you go. And so not all those people that were coming here were, just people looking for a better life. There
No,
quite a
there were a
few of
lot
them
of bad people coming
were
here, and that's
really
really the
bad.
problem.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that I regret that maybe there were some people.
that's
If
true.
let's say instead of millions, there were just a few hundred or a few thousand people that had some issues, and maybe there's a special department that could try to help them. It's not the end of the world in certain special circumstances if they need asylum. But once you have millions of people going in and just overloading the system, even if there were some legitimate people, they got like they fell between the cracks. Or let's say legitimate people that wanted to request it kind of fell between the cracks because everything was just such a mess all over the board, all across the board. Istafobos says it's happening in Europe right now. It's a full-scale invasion led by unelected elites out of Brussels. Outnumbered Europeans have never seen so much crime. They tried it here. It was an invasion. Yeah, for me, like I said, the whole thing is sort of an unfortunate situation. I am not opposed. I understand the issue that's happened here. I also like your idea, Professor. Maybe there's an industry that needs, let's say, 3,000 workers for a certain, type of labor that they think that Americans, it's not very popular with them or at the rates or whatever it is. They have a special program that they say, okay, we're bringing 3,000 people from Mexico, which were vetted, which we know where they are, we know what they're doing here. They have a special like 3-year permit to work here. They do their work, and then at the end of that, uh, you know, maybe there's a legal way. Maybe they just have to go back. I don't really know. It's not something that I've given more thought than this second now, and we're talking about it. But I'm just saying there could have been things in place that maybe give people some kind of opportunity and special temporary visas or whatever it is to work. But the way they did it, they just walk in and they don't want to tell anybody, and they're all these criminals. That's unacceptable.
Yeah, not hardly anyone was vetted. It was an embarrassment. There's also a comment on Rumble there from Double R Star, who's in the UK, kind of speaking directly to what Istafobos said in his little Rumble rant. And thank you again for the Rumble rant there, Istafobos.
Let's see. They're importing on an industrial level now. Dublin gone, London gone, Paris gone. They're creating a cheaper workforce to funnel even more money to the top 0.1%. They love their super yachts. Yeah, I mean, I really I saw a video. I'm going to try to find it in a second. That somebody in London, I think today, one of those kind of rioters or these kind of watermelon enthusiasts was just going around and just destroying shops and stuff. And I think from videos that I've been seeing, unless people are just picking and choosing videos, it feels like this has become more commonplace. Like London was a place that back in the day, a number of times, I'd visited there over the years a number of times, and I always liked spending time in London. It was a place that I really like. When I see these videos now, it just doesn't even seem like the same place to me.
Oh,
I
yeah.
I want to believe that it's not as bad as every time I see a video that it's not like that. But sometimes they just show you a video where they're showing you the street or they're showing you different places, and it really feels like the culture there has changed drastically in a lot of places, and there's no way around it. Now, some people will say, "Oh, well, it's the people that came; they have their own culture and whatever." And I understand. I just think that so many people that sort of left one place in order to come to another place to be a part of this new culture, yet they want it to be their old culture, the one that was sort of oppressive and they supposedly tried to run away from, and then they come to this new place and they also don't like the new place and they also want the new place to be like the old place, and this sometimes confuses me. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It's one
Mhm.
thing to hold on to your heritage, and it's the other thing to try to run away from a place that's oppressive and import the oppression that you seem to not like.
Yeah.
It's strange. It's almost like if it didn't exist, I wouldn't believe it. If you told me about it, I'd be like, "No way, this doesn't make any sense," but that's what's happening. I don't have any other way to describe it.
Yeah.
Did you see
Yeah.
that video? Did you see the video of this guy? Somebody, let me try to find this.
I don't
Tell
think I
some.
saw that specific video, but I was gonna say Phantom Outsider was, saying in the chat over on YouTube, says not only is ICE looking for the worst of the worst, but also looking for those 300,000 unaccompanied kids the Biden administration lost. Holman said so far they've found thousands of them. One was a 14-year-old girl given to two adult males, and when found, she was in a family way. Um, those that did such need to be punished. Yeah, absolutely. And that has been what has been assumed for quite some time, is that those 300,000 kids didn't just end up with family friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were being tracked, and a lot of them. And that's uh, as a parent, there's nothing that makes me more angry than the idea that they just allowed, because, oh, well, it's okay. We'll just let these unaccompanied minors come in, which it's okay. The idea that they would just allow that to happen, it's just infuriating.
So
Um,
apparently, this I'm going to show you now. This happened in London today.
okay.
And I know it's one video, but the thing is, I've seen like other videos, or other things going on, and it really just gives this kind of creepy feeling. Not the feeling I had when I was visiting London. Are you ready?
Mhm.
Admittedly, I haven't been there. The last time I was in London was probably in around, I think, 2007 or something along those lines, and it seems like a different place. But let me show you what I mean. So this happened today, apparently. Are you with me?
Mhm.
Give me what?
Don't leave nothing, bro. Come, bro.
Yeah. Good grief.
I don't even understand what was the goal of this person. You know what I mean? They came, they broke some stuff and ran away. Like what are they? What's the end game here? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, they were smashing through a window. It looked like there was probably some jewelry that was on display behind that window, and they were smashing.
Did the person even
through
take
it.
any jewelry? I think he just
Yeah, he
knocked.
reached in and took some stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can see him reaching in there.
I see. It's not that I'm suggesting that there was never crime in London. I'm just saying that there's just more and more weird stuff like this. Maybe this person was actually a great person. I don't know, but that doesn't look too good.
Well, unfortunately, the police are too busy arresting people for making Facebook posts to actually stop what's going on.
Istophobos, 30 people every day are jailed in UK for innocuous social
Yep.
media posts labeled hate speech. Meanwhile, douchebag Lattenbury calls for and grape juice vendors are set free. Yeah. By the way, that ever since we talked about that, that guy, I think that a lot of stuff didn't work out very well for him. If you noticed, let me
Uh,
try to find some information because
yeah, Bob Villain,
yeah,
that
Bob
guy.
Villain. So what
Yeah.
happened was he talked a big game, and he's like, I didn't care what you say. It's all you. I can do whatever I want." And then basically after his crap, uh, basically he even went. He's like, "Silence is not an option," and all this like dumb shit. Sorry,
Mhm.
Sean. And then at the end, what happened is that if I understand correctly, uh, I think that everything got canceled, meaning his tours got canceled. His here, let's see. This is something.
I
I don't
mean,
know if this
he
is.
had his U.S. visa revoked.
Yeah, hold
So
on.
any tours, any shows he had in the U.S., he's not allowed to come in.
So basically, has had concerts canceled in Germany and the UK and Paris. The US tour is done. Basically, if this thing was supposed to generate significant money for this guy, he's not getting any of it. I know a lot of people were pointing out the thing that he was saying about the IDF, but it's not the only crazy stuff this guy was saying. I mean, this guy had like anti-white messages, anti-West messages. The fact that the BBC would even invite this guy to perform to begin with is a disgrace in my opinion.
It is
Like
absolutely is.
now there's a lot of backlash going on that they're like the BBC had to apologize and they're like, oh, we're really gonna try to investigate what's going on here at the BBC. It's like, you don't need to tell me. There have been so many cases in recent years where you've had people that were either anti-US, anti-West, anti-White, anti-Israel, whatever you want. Like you've had a lot of these kind of people there. uh the only time that I've seen that the BBC does something is that when they get in trouble, then they fire. There was this lady who had some ties to Disney even that worked for the BBC, and it turned out that she had like a Facebook page that was all the craziest shit, sorry Sean, about like not liking white people and westerns and all this stuff. And only after it was uncovered and somebody made a big deal, including even like media in the US, people started highlighting this. This was maybe like a year ago. They
Mhm.
ended up firing her. But they needed a whole lot of things to happen before they said, okay, now we're going to do something. It almost feels like if there wasn't a stink about it, they wouldn't do anything. And I feel the same way about this guy. Uh, this weird Rasta man, whatever he's pretending to be here. Because I think this guy is like a phony. From what I understand, like he has wealthy parents or something, and he's pretending to be like urban. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I read somewhere, that he's kind of a poser to begin with.
Yeah.
In any case, all I'll say is that the BBC only end up doing something that could be seen as like correcting some kind of thing that they have, only after it becomes an issue that they simply can't avoid. And it just shows you what I believe is a very poisonous atmosphere within that toxic, if you want to call it. They always call us toxic, but I think that the atmosphere and the work environment there is especially hostile and toxic, in my opinion, in really spreading hate, the way I see it. Part of the reason why we look at things like Doctor Who and they went off a cliff is exactly because of the type of people that work there.
100%. Yeah.
And Bill Gates gives a lot of money to the BBC, and nobody's ever explained this to me. Why does Bill Gates continue to give them so much money? Isn't that a strange relationship that Bill Gates all the time gives them money?
I guess they need more money to keep pushing the message.
You know what?
That's all
You're
I
gonna
can
think I'm
assume.
crazy. I've told you this before. I think that once I read something that Bill Gates, like, I saw that he gives money to them, and the way it was explained was he's not giving money to the BBC like just the regular BBC. He's giving money to the charity arm of the BBC. And then I'm like, okay, well, that sounds on the up and up, right? But then you find out, what is the charity arm of the BBC? Do you know what they do?
I mean, the charity arm of the BBC?
Yes.
I can only imagine the groups that they give money to.
Basically, from what I recall, they like go to African villages that don't have anything and they make them watch their shows. And their shows are very woke. Do you get what I mean? They're basically
Absolutely, yeah.
saying like, "Hey, like look at this. Like you should be like this." And they're sort of brainwashing them with their programming, meaning Bill Gates gives them money. They pretend that it's for one arm and it's not for the other arm, but this is all a crock of shit. Sorry, Sean, in my opinion. And then at the end, they take their broadcast and they go to some like remote village somewhere and make them watch like, Nishuti Gatwa. It's so ridiculous.
I wonder if that's covered under the Geneva Convention. Is that actually a war crime to make
I
people
think
watch
making
Gatwa?
them watch Nishuti Gatwa is a war crime. Let's see, BBC funding. Here, for example, the Gates Foundation awarded a 20 million grant to the BBC World Service Trust, now BBC Media Action. It's like all the time. Every 5 seconds, they give them money.
Oh,
like
yeah.
even if okay. Are you ready?
Shoot.
So this is so funny. The top 10 donors of the BBC of 23-24, USAID.
Well, so much for that.
Right, so much for that. Let's see. I believe that there was some. Where is it? So, the Bill. Okay, there's Bill and Melinda Gates. Okay, and then it says we are grateful. Hold on one second. I remember seeing. Okay, here it is. Our significant donors include the UK Foreign Commonwealth Development, the UN, several UN agencies, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the Swedish International Development Cooperation Agency, the Norwegian, all these weirdos. But I'm telling you that like Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation gives a ton of things. And now, are you ready for this? Are you ready, Professor?
Oh, I'm ready.
This is apparently.
Fire away.
I'm trying to find this picture because they're showing you what their company does, what this charity stuff does. So this is a picture that they show. They're showing you how like these people are in some remote location and now they're listening to what the BBC is telling them. Do you get where I'm going with this, Professor?
Yes.
They're going to people like that are, unfortunate people, rather than maybe giving them some money to feed their families, or like, here's a radio. Don't you want to listen to like, BBC people talking and explaining to you what's happening in the world, that, USAID and Bill Gates just gave us like a ton of money to talk to you? This is so weird, in my opinion, at least. Is it not weird? Am I crazy? Sometimes I think I'm crazy, Professor. This is really spooky and strange. I don't know what
here's what the BBC. What do? We spread our message around. Are we going to provide people with things that they actually need? No. We're just going to spread the message, spread our programming however we can to whoever we can. I'm sure they charge those people in Africa a licensing fee.
And this is like more pictures of what they're showing. They're showing like all these like poor people that they're talking to, or in Africa or whatever it is, like in little huts. And then there's one like that there's some, lady with a whatever, and there's like somebody filming. This whole thing is so strange. Like, I don't trust these people at all. Who are these people? The fact that like they highlighted USAID, and look, USAID is probably their number 2 donor in the world.
Yep.
Not anymore.
That's a solid. I'm looking at that, just like 20% probably.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that they have is like that's sort of more than that is what they say the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, and then aside from that, USAID was the number 2 donor for this whole BBC thing, whatever it is that they're doing here. Even though they did mention the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation for some reason. And yeah, I'm sorry. I just, where our money comes from. I don't know why I think this is funny. Global Affairs Canada. Canadians have nothing to do than to contribute to this weird thing. UNICEF. This is all really, really fishy. I think I surprised you with my investigation, Professor.
Oh, and most impressive, always. Our investigations on the fly here.
Yeah,
Indeed.
it was a last minute investigation,
Yeah.
and I really am. I think Empress and M, is it like some kind of social engineering experiments or something? No, but you have to admit that the picture with the guys with the transistor, that was like so crappy.
A
Like
little
that.
happy African family sitting around with their little radio staring at it, you know.
Amelia Video says, I thought Gates cured malaria. Anything?
Mhm.
I don't know. That's who probably said that. I think it's around 100. This double R star who's in England, I think it's around 169 pounds for a year for BBC license, but fewer and fewer people pay it now. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can see why.
Yeah, and the government comes around and knocks on your door. I've seen videos of it, from people. The government come and knock around the door. Oh, we recognize you haven't paid your license, for. And he's like, I don't watch any of it. Go away. I have no interest in in any of the programming that you're airing. So go away.
Empress NM says, I feel bad for participating in Trick or Treat for UNICEF when I was little. I don't even know what that is, but that doesn't
Yeah,
sound
trick or
very
treat.
good.
You said that you would go and you'd get pennies, and then that money would go to the UN. And yeah, a lot of it was just wasted.
Urkel De Stefano says, that's a lot of police on Harper right now. Don't really know. Do you understand what he's saying?
A lot of, I'm not sure.
On Harper? But in any case, I am very, very pleased with my investigation. And yes, I don't know. There was, right now I feel like they've toned down their website. Maybe now they're worried so they don't show as much information. There was something also that a while back they showed how like Facebook gives them money. In past years there were a lot of people giving them money, and they'd really highlight on these type of websites of theirs how much some of these organizations and these companies give them money. And one has to wonder why. Although I didn't see Zuckerberg mentioned now, so maybe he stopped giving them since Trump was elected. He's like, sorry, see you later.
Yep.
Anyhow, how did we get to Bill Gates and his funding of strange African
I don't know.
people on
Were
behalf
we,
of the
were we
BBC?
talking about Riri Williams or something? No, it wasn't that. Then we'd be talking about the devil funding funding people's research.
Well,
I mean, maybe they're the same thing. I don't know. Maybe Bill Gates met with Mephisto at some point.
Urkel De Stefano, how's it going, anonymous YouTube personalities and another AI voice? Which one is the AI voice? Is that me? There were people, there's some people that still think that right now when I'm talking, it's not really me, but it's like I'm using a filter that you're hearing me sound one way, but I actually sound another way. It's really strange that people think that, because really the only thing I have is that this is my voice. I don't know if it's a good voice or not, but it is what it is. Like that is actually me. It insults me when people think that I'm AIing this. Storm Ninja, well, it's happening in the UK because British people allowed it. They were too liberal and politically correct for decades, not reading any issues with the government. UK has fallen. Good luck. I think that what happened is that the British, in the past, they used to be kind of aggressive and sometimes badass, but it was all done underneath this like surface of like a lot of polite and polite behavior and like courteous behavior. And over the years, the like kind of aggressive and badass thing kind of dwindled down, and they were only left with the kind of polite behavior. And that's where some maybe other forces started to capitalize on their sort of polite. You know what I'm saying? Like there's some countries where people yell a lot more. I'm not saying that they don't, that doesn't happen in England. I mean, you can go to like a pub there, you'll see enough people like yelling. And I've been to football games there and things like that. So it's not that there's nobody that can yell or cause a scene or do something, but I think that the overall vibe is that as a culture, I feel at least they used to be very polite. And I even felt that when I went there, at different times, that different people I interacted with, I'm not talking about like hooligans at a game or, you know, crazy drunk people at a concert because that's like a different situation. But I'm saying just more everyday people I interacted with, it felt like they had a certain politeness to them. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that was their weakness. Like it was exploited. Like people were saying, their political correctness, whatever it is. In the past, it was very like it could have been disingenuous political correctness at times, but yeah, I don't know. I can't fully explain what happened. Maybe somebody that lives there could explain how it happened. But
Yeah, not living there, it's kind of hard to know, and I'm
I
not
I
not
really
gotten to
like.
visit the UK either. So
Have you ever visited the UK?
no.
Man, I'm telling you, I went. I think in the late '90s. I think I went in the mid '90s. I then went in the late '90s, and then I went like somewhere maybe in 2007 or something like that. 3 different trips, and I stayed there for a bit. Tried to really absorb some of the place. Really, really liked it. It felt the reason why it kind of saddens me to see what I'm seeing now is that it was the kind of place that I visited that I felt very comfortable in. Like I felt in some strange way that people, I don't know, it's a strange thing for me to say, that people understood me. I felt like a good vibe, sitting around in some pubs and drinking beer, actually going to football games, music, all that stuff. Like I just, it was stuff that I liked, and I felt that I really like blended in, and I enjoyed being there. And when I look at these kind of footage today, it looks like a different place. It's like this doesn't look like the place I went to. And maybe I'm just looking at videos that paint that picture, but I have a feeling that there's more to it than that.
Yep. It's well. Yeah, I hate like sort of criticizing other countries for the choices that they've made and so on, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, unfortunately, we didn't learn from anything they'd done over there, as evidenced by what's going on in New York City with Mamdani and his potential or likely election to the seat of mayor.
That'll import London into New York City. It's like it'll be, if they can't in New York stop what's going on, if they're going to let that happen, I think that it is an absolute disaster. Like it's inconceivable that that guy will become mayor for a few different reasons. First of all, he's never done anything in his life. He's in his 30s. He's been a citizen for 5 minutes, and he's one of those like anti-West, anti-whatever communist things. It is bonkers. And yeah, I mean, first of all, no experience. Two, his policies and his ideas are the opposite of what represents New York. That this man would somehow get elected is just it's insane. And yeah, I think there's a chance of it happening. And Double R Star says, sadly, there's a strong left wing contingent here in Scotland. It's depressing. Yeah, I mean, I guess people are saying that there's a certain religion that somehow is affecting London. Now, the thing is that I believe in freedom of religion. I don't care if people, practice whatever they practice and do whatever they do. But I do think that whatever they do shouldn't be this kind of thing that you intrude on other people's. It's like what I was saying before. If you came from a place under the assumption that there you were not allowed to be yourself, or you're being oppressed or whatever it is, and you came to this other place for like a better life, and to be more accepted and to be in a different atmosphere, yet that's not good for you. That's where I think the issues are. Whether it's a cultural religious thing, there's a lot of things that could be said about it, but I'm sure that there's people in every religion that are moderate and probably good people. It's just really, I think it's the bad ones that cause the problems more than the good ones. And unfortunately, usually you don't hear about good ones; you only hear about bad ones. And I'm not saying that bad ones don't exist. There's probably more bad people in the world than good people.
Yeah, and there are uh s- well, Amelia kind of pointed something out in the chat, which is exactly what I was going to say. Uh, there are problems with certain religions because while you might believe in freedom of religion, they do not.
Right. I mean,
They believe in imposing their religion on everyone,
I
and or
understand that, but
yeah,
even within that religion, I've met people that are more moderate. I think that if you're
absolutely,
moderate, there's
that's
people
not
that are
wrong.
just like, okay, well, they don't need to take everything that literally seriously, and they do give other people the space to do whatever. It's just I think that it's not the moderate people that are the obstacle here.
Yeah, yeah, and there's a lot of other issues that have to do with rights. If you start to do some research into ethics and rights and how rights are granted to people by the through the government, whatever, like part of what we're talking about with our like with our constitution, part of that is really what has helped to protect the United States from a lot of things that have happened in other countries. We have that constitution. It's very difficult to change it or add things to it, remove things from it. And so that's the supreme law of the land, of course, until, if they can take over the courts and then the courts just decide to ignore the Constitution, that's another potential threat. And believe me, we were awfully close at one point to getting there to a majority in the Supreme Court who would happily just ignore the supreme law of the land and make up their own BS. But when you think in more of a conceptual framework about like how do we get rights, what are rights, what do those mean to us, you talk about the freedom of religion and stuff. Those are there's basically two different sides. There's positive rights and there's negative rights. The Constitution, the Bill of Rights in general, are built on top of what are referred to as negative rights, and people think that sounds bad. Well, it's not bad. Negative rights are rights that require other people to not interfere with you, right? It means that others can't mess with you. They can't force you to do things. That is the center, the focus of negative rights is what we have in the Constitution. It says the government is not allowed to do this to you. Other citizens are not allowed to do this to you. Uh, you know, and so that's a lot of what we have there. Unfortunately, in a lot of other countries, in a lot of other places, they have focused a lot on what are referred to as positive rights. Positive rights are rights enshrined in law that require other people to provide something to you, right?
Right.
So they impose on you a duty to assist others or to send things to the government. But then they also are very very deeply focused on entitlement. Then the government has to provide you with this thing or that thing or this other thing, and that also leads to a lot of societal issues because now you've got a society, and this has happened pretty heavily in the UK and some other places where you have a government that has built itself, a society that's built itself on these positive rights of saying I'm entitled to this, I'm entitled to that. The government has to provide all of these things for me, and it's really taken away the the desire of those people to actually try and build things themselves and do things themselves because they're expecting that the government is going to take care of everything for them.
And speaking of things that are happening in the UK, this is a show. Do you know anything about this show? I watched this.
I've heard several people mention it, but I have not actually watched any of it. No.
I've watched the first 4 episodes, and basically it's taking place in Scotland. And the reason why I brought it up is that one of the characters in this show is a guy that initially came from Syria, and he believes in a certain religion, and he's sort of incorporated into the show. And I was wondering to myself, how accurate is it in Scotland that there would be somebody from Syria that would be joining the force like this? I'm not criticizing. I'm just trying to wonder if like somebody from Scotland would watch this and say, "Hey, this is super woke," or maybe, "Oh, hey, this is super woke," or however they talk. But in any case, I wonder to myself if that's what they'd say about it, or if they look at it and think like, no, this is actually, it rings true. I have to say that this show until now has felt pretty well made. It's presented some like an interesting mystery. I think this guy, this main actor Matthew Good, does do a pretty good job. Until now, I like his performance. Just wondering about some of these other things, if it's like quote unquote the message, but I don't have enough info. I was just asking it because Mr. Double R Star, is that the way Double R Star?
Yeah,
Yes.
double R star.
If he's still around, I'd love to hear if that's, actually representative of what happens in Scotland. And I see people in the chat are asking me to show a picture of a certain religious figure, and I don't know that person, and I don't know what they would don't know what they look like, so I wouldn't know. Hopefully that puts
Yeah.
that matter to rest.
Dad man's trying to see if someone will globalize the Intifada on you.
In Scotland, we have a man with strong African accent doing some news stories, and it's freaking crazy. Sorry, Sean. No, but I mean in the police force, because here there's like a guy from Syria that joins this, the guy who plays the main detective, and he is, they touch upon some things about his religion, and I just think I thought to myself, I wonder if in a police department how common it is that a guy from Syria comes in there. In London, I probably would think it's more common. I've never been to Scotland, and I don't know how things work there. I've always liked Scotland, just in based on what I've heard about it, and because I like Sean Connery. So I've always thought to myself, Scotland is probably a cool place, but I've never been there. Maybe one day I can go there and drink some beer. I don't know what else do people do in Scotland except for like drinking.
Yeah, have a pint.
Have a pint, and I don't know if there's any decent ladies there, but pints and ladies sounds like a good good arrangement for me. Double R Star probably knows better what happens there. The show is insanely woke. That's what Istafobos says, but there are plenty of refugees in Scotland. So yeah, I mean, I guess. Oh, Edinburgh is Scotland's London. I get it now. I understand what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
I got it. Scotland, I still have fond memories. You know why I also like it? Because of Train Spotting. That was another
Yeah.
thing. I knew I liked Sean Connery, and he was Scottish, so for me that was already a great sign. And then you had Train Spotting, which I think that they brought when they brought Train Spotting to the US, I believe that they had to redub some of the narration at the beginning that Ewan McGregor is speaking, because they thought that American audiences wouldn't understand what he's saying, or I don't know how what they did with that movie. I don't know what versions of it exist, but I will say that I saw this when I wasn't in the US, and actually I got a copy, a legitimate, in the store. I don't know if I got it in like HMV. There was something called like Heath Master's Voice in London, and the short version was HMV. Later, they opened some stores in the U.S., but that kind of came and went. In any case, I think I bought Train Spotting, like an actual copy of it on VHS in England, in London when I was there, and I got it the way that it was. I mean, however he talks in the movie. And also, when I went to see the movie, I actually saw it abroad, and I saw it the way he actually talked. But were you aware, Professor, that they had to have him redub his narration or something?
No.
Because people couldn't understand him apparently, but I could.
I mean, I guess that makes sense on some level, but
I could understand him because I have this. I actually. I don't know why I feel like I get Scottish people. I mean, not anymore now if they're like in London, but I'm saying in the past I feel like I understood them. Even when others couldn't, I feel like I could understand them. I really liked Train Spotting. Anyhow,
Yeah.
Ewan Bremner Spud actually played Renton before it was a movie. Oh, like it was a play and then he played it. I didn't know that. But you know what? He was great as Spud. Have to admit, he was absolutely great as Spud. Everybody was great in that movie. That to date is probably like Ewan McGregor's best role. Uh, Maybe after that, I like what he did as Obi-Wan Kenobi, even though there was issues with those movies. I liked his performance. But for me, the real deal is Ewan McGregor in Trainspotting. Absolutely like home run of a performance. Just such a fantastic acting performance in that movie. Everybody is good. Johnny Lee Miller, whatever his name is, the guy that married Angelina Jolie when she was young and quickly divorced her, who played Sick Boy in that movie. Great performance. The guy that played Spud, great. Uh, Bigsby, whatever his name is, amazing. Like just such. And Kelly MacDonald, who actually is in this Department Q show, and still not a bad looking lady. You know, she's not a traditional kind of good looking lady. She has a kind of offbeat look about her, but it's offbeat in a good way. I kind of like Kelly MacDonald. I think she's all right. I don't know
Yeah.
how I got to talking about all of this. Sorry, everybody. I feel like
No,
I've
that's all
I've
right.
taken this show completely off the rails. Professor is like, who the fuck is Kelly MacDonald? What are you talking about? And
Kelly
I'm sorry,
McDonald.
Sean, and I'm sorry, Professor.
No, that's all right. I was actually watching something on Netflix. I finished the last season of Squid Game earlier
Ah, I
today.
didn't get to it. How is it? Don't do like full spoiler, but how did you feel about the last
No,
season?
I still think that the first season should have just stayed on its own as its own thing. Uh, that there was no reason to continue the story. Uh, but as far as I'm assuming you've seen the season 2, the
I
first
did
half
see
of
it.
the second story.
I felt what you just said. I felt when I saw the second one. That's maybe why I wasn't in such a rush to see the third one. I was able to watch it and it was just like, okay enough for me to watch. But man, I felt like the first one was perfection. The first one from start to finish told its story and it just didn't need anything else. And really, for the first few episodes of the second season, I was super annoyed that they're even continuing it. And somehow at the end, I kind of got more invested in it, but really kind of begrudgingly so. And once it ended, I haven't even thought about it since that day. I wasn't thinking, oh, when do I get season 3? Like, I almost forgot this thing existed until you just told me. But since you sat and watched season 3, how did you feel generally, like, about them wrapping up the story?
Generally, as far as wrapping up what was taking place during this second story, like, granted, the story's being told. All right, so let's make it the best possible story we can. I was fine with the way that the show wrapped up. I thought it was very tragic, surprising in a few places, touching in a few places. I thought it really ended up telling a very meaningful story about these people and the lives that they lived, what would bring them to what would bring them to such a state that they would that they would actually join a game like this, and what it meant for him going back into the game, for 456 going into the game, and then what it meant for him to try and help other people survive and to make it through, so that they didn't have to go through the same stuff that others had before. Uh, I thought it was fine. I did not hate it. For the most part, I would say they told the second half of the story very well. Probably doesn't end the way that you'd be happy with, or the way that you would want. um, but there are some characters, genuinely good people, people with really tragic stories and so on in the story, that in the end do end up better off. Um, so unfortunately, there's also a bunch of people who should be thoroughly punished for what they've done that get off scot free. as is the usual.
I see.
So, you know, anyway, if you've watched up to this point, definitely finish up the story. It takes some interesting twists and turns. Like I said, in the end, I thought it was a satisfying completion to the story. So
So
yeah.
Elizabeth Quinn says, and here at Price of Reason Studios, I'm not necessarily confirming, our sentiments about stuff like this, but I want to give her a chance to express herself. Squid Game is such a true representation of Koreans. Cheat to win, never a win-win. I've never been to Korea. I can't really say one way or another. So, uh, but I will say this is that different cultures in Asia, and I've said this before, and sometimes I once told you a story that I think I told you this, that I was in a college setting. And I said this in class, and also I wrote it in a paper that in China, they have a culture where they don't tell the truth, and it's part of their culture. And lying is considered, acceptable, and it's not the same thing as it is in the West, and it is like something that's ingrained in their culture. And whoever the professor was that was reading my paper, I think, or whatever it was, crossed that part out and was like either talk to me or whatever, was like annoyed about it. But I told you then, Professor, that until this day I stand by what I said. It may not be the PC thing to say, it may not be something that people want to hear, but I don't think I said something that was necessarily offensive. And the kind of culture that exists in Korea, I don't know, because I've never been there. I would want to go there. I would want to learn more about that culture. It sounds like an interesting place to me. I hope it's not like I don't have to do Squid Games when I'm there, but you know what I'm saying. Istophobos also said something. McDonald is only halfway attractive woman on that show. The rest of them are like pouring alcohol in your eyeballs. I admit that it's not a show with like beautiful people. Kelly McDonald is also not 20 years old. I think, I don't know how old she is now. She must be, I'm thinking minimum 40s, but maybe even more. How old is Kelly McDonald? Age.
Mhm.
She's 49 years old. For a 49-year-old woman, I think she looks fine. I like her, and I think she looks nice for a 49-year-old woman. Growing up, I saw her in movies like Train Spotting and like other stuff when she was younger. So maybe that vision is still kind of ingrained in my mind, and I thought that she had a cool look. The other characters, I really have nothing to say as to Phobos. It's not like a very glamorous show with very like stunning women. I don't even know that women that want to look at men would find men that look great on that show. But it is interesting. I do find it interesting. Uh, the dead man was saying, could you show Jesus on the cross? I'll say this: there's some religions that they don't like seeing certain things, and since I'm on a few different platforms, whether it's Rumble, who are actually really big on free speech, but there's also other platforms that we stream on simultaneously, even though the headquarters is Rumble, which of course you should sign up for. If you haven't signed up for Rumble, you should sign up right now. And once you sign up, you should also follow us so you know when our streams are. It's free to sign up, and Rumble is a great place for freedom of speech. So if I haven't said it, if you're watching on an app, go to your phone and sign up. It's really cool to support a platform like this, and you should do it. If you're watching on another platform and you feel like dropping us a like and subscribe or whatever it is, that's cool as well. But yeah, the Dead Man, because we're on a few different platforms, I'm not going out of my way. It's not like in my nature that I'm going to offend somebody. It's not like I even show Jesus on the cross here every second. I'm not looking to offend people or disrespect the religion or anything like that. I do think that maybe sometimes some people are very sensitive about certain things, but at the end of the day, I also have to follow the guidelines of certain platforms, which maybe you do something and they're not going to look at it positively, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Price
Yeah.
of Rusism. Why do you say that? What did I do? Oh, because of the Chinese people. If you lie, it's not honorable. Listen, in their culture, it's different. It's not what you think. Even in the West, being less than honest was considered polite. Some Asian communities do like being inscrutable, mysterious, not playing with absolute truth, no idea why. It's just they have like a different thing. It has a lot to do with saving face. That's also like that in Japanese culture. There's other stuff going on that makes sense to them, but it may not make sense to you.
Okay.
Even though
Yeah.
just quickly, I'll say, even though it's Japan and not China, if you ever seen the movie Rising Sun by Philip Kaufman, highly recommend that movie. and really showing you what it looks like through their eyes, how they see certain things in their culture, how you see them. It's a movie from years ago. Maybe today they wouldn't even make it, but as Sean Connery and as Wesley Snipes, and it is a really good movie. Sorry, now you go on.
Well, no, I was going to say, having had many Chinese students over the years, not so many anymore, but many over the years, I can tell you that yes, this is not something particularly racially basis or anything like that. It's literally just a cultural thing. They do not have the same perception of like cheating as we do in our Western culture. For them, if they can get the answers somewhere and they can answer the questions and turn in the homework and they get the grade, the goal is to get the grade, and how they got there didn't matter, right? Like that was the whole point, was getting the grade. So if they have a way to get there that doesn't require that they have to do the work, that's totally fine with them. They don't actually care. It's a cultural thing, and we had many issues and discussions specifically about the Chinese students and how to help, and not to say like, oh, watch out for those Chinese students, they're going to cheat in your class, but quite literally to say, hey, we need to kind of make sure that we're delivering this message more completely to the Chinese students, that doing that is not okay, right? Like, to take someone else's work and turn it in as your own, not okay. To copy some stuff online and turn that in for paper, not okay. To to pay someone to write your paper for you and then you turn that in as your work, not okay. Because they quite literally, in a cultural sense, did not get that was a problem.
I
And
understand.
so we had to deal with that frequently. I mean, I can say that over a number of years, I had to turn in quite a few students for cheating. It happens. And I would say, on balance, probably 2-1. It was students who were Chinese that I had to turn in for cheating. That's not to say that I didn't have cheating students that were Americans. I did, but there
And I'm
were
sure
quite
you
a
had
few more of them
students
that
that
were.
were Chinese that did the work and did what that was.
You absolutely, we did. There were. It was not as if every single student who came in that was from China or from an Asian country was going to cheat their way through the work. There were quite a few of them that acclimated to the academic environment in the U.S. very completely. They understood the ideas. They understood the different values and focus on the idea is that you're doing the work so that you are enriching yourself to learn something about it. It's not just about what grade you get back. But yeah, there were still quite a few students that did not get that. And in one particular very memorable
Hmm.
one particularly very memorable situation, I had a student. Well, I said I had students, Chinese students, who were they were concerned about all the things they had to do for Chinese New Year. They with their different organizations and groups they were part of on campus, and so they got together. 5 of them got together and all did part of an assignment, and then they all just shared their work and turned it in. And because of the way that I process my work and stuff like that, I was able to basically find out that there were 5 different students that all worked on this, and they all got a failing grade for it. And they were very unhappy about what had happened. I had to explain. Look, I'm sorry, those are the rules, and they're thoroughly explained. Before you got here.
There's a Coen Brothers movie where there's something where he has an Asian student. I feel like today probably everything wouldn't be non-PC. There's something with an Asian student that either cheats or something he does. Do you know what I'm talking about? The Coen Brothers movie with the teacher and the Asian student. It's something. I'm going to try to find it in a second. I just want to say I saw a few strange people or somebody in the comments was like upset that I wasn't talking about Christ. I don't know what. Again, I want to say again, we enjoy talking about a lot of different things, and we're on a few different platforms, and we are not looking to enter into strange like religion wars or things like that. It's just like not really our scene here. You know what I mean? Like, we talk about like general stories of the day, about like TV and movie reviews, some gaming news, pop culture stuff, also some politics here and there. But we're to what I'm saying. We don't go all in that kind of like religious wars or whatever it is. So just trying to explain that. But we welcome discussions, and we love talking to a lot of you, and we are happy to talk about pretty much everything. It's just that's a very specific thing. And then to some people, it's personal,
Mm-hmm.
That'll always be something that people don't agree upon and that people have different opinions. So it's more difficult to dwell on that. What was I going to say? You can finish up the Squid Games thing. I want to find this thing that I was telling you about. Oh, wait, there's Dead Man. The Dead Man gave...
Yeah,
a
we've
bunch
got
of-
some super chats to catch up on over on YouTube.
I'm so sorry, the Dead Man. I'm so sorry that I didn't see this until now. Dead Man, you're all right, the Dead Man. I hope he's still here and you didn't run away. Let me share what the Dead Man has done here, which is actually quite a big deal. So we have... You know what? I'm going to do this differently this time. Are you ready?
Yep.
I feel like you're typing something.
Oh, I am.
Is it something good?
Oh, I was just answering someone's question in the chat.
Oh, okay. And
Just waiting for to see them sweet super chats.
so we have from the Dead Man, $2. Happy Independence Day, everyone. America, fuck yeah. Love that movie, love that song. So the Dead Man, hope you're still here. Hope you didn't run away. I'm sorry I didn't see this until now. By the way, the Dead Man, if you ever saw that I didn't see anything, you should definitely let me know. And then the Dead Man says, here's a $1.05 for the price of reason, which is funny. Probably he remembers, because the Dead Man remembers stuff that Pablo Hidalgo once said about me, that I am worth a $1.05 because of the movie Team America. He thought it was Price of Freedom, but it was Price of Reason.
Mm-hmm.
It's all really dumb, but that actually did happen to me. Haven't heard from Pablo Hidalgo in a long time. Haven't seen him talk weird shit about me in posts and stuff. Feel like he deleted his accounts for some reason. Not saying it had anything to do with Gina Carano's trial. Probably just felt like deleting his accounts for one day for some unrelated reason. The Dead Man, $4.99. Freedom isn't free. It takes people like you and me. I think it takes folks like you and me. Freedom isn't free. It takes folks like you and me. And then what's in there? Something, a hefty fucking bill. Sorry, Sean. Hefty fucking fee or something like that. I don't remember. Freedom isn't free. There's a hefty fucking fee. And we don't all chip in, or $1.05, who will? Or something like that. It's hard for me to do his impression of doing a country, but it's something like that. Then you have the Dead Man, Operation Mockingbird. Which one was Operation Mockingbird? Remind me.
Let's see, Operation Mockingbird. That was that was a CIA thing. It was manipulating different media outlets with propaganda. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, for the Cold War. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, doesn't surprise me. I don't know.
It was manipulating domestic. Not like manipulating. Mockingbird was not about messing with Russian media or something like that. It was about messing with American domestic media to spread propaganda.
Yeah, and I said I don't think that Kelly McDonald was ever like the traditional beauty, whatever. But there's something appealing about her, and I still think she looks pretty good for like a 49-year-old woman or whatever it is. I like her, and she's a good actress too. So that's who we were talking about before. That Istafova said that she was only halfway decent. Again, I mean, she doesn't look like she had 70 operations. She's pretty much touching 50.
Yeah.
I think that she's aged gracefully, in my humble opinion. And I kind of, when I saw her on the show, I was kind of happy. I like her. I think
Yes.
Istafobos
I
gave
also like
some.
her.
What'd you say?
I also like her. I think she's a good actress. I've enjoyed a bunch of her performances over the years.
I agree. I feel like Istafobos has given a few rumble rants here that I missed. I saw this one, but then there's 30 people every day are jailed in UK for Nokia's. Oh, we did that. We did.
I think we got that one. I think after that, there's another one from just a few minutes ago. Here,
I feel like I can say this because I've lived in both countries for significant time and understand the culture. Both Japan and China put a premium on saving face, but only Japan also honors values honor. That makes sense. I can totally see that happening.
Mhm.
Istophobos, the reason far fewer Japanese students cheating and to catch a Chinese student cheating causes the teacher to lose face, so they are less likely to call them out. They are not doing it maliciously. It's a cultural thing. Cultures are different, and they are not in the, they have, and that's exactly what I was trying to say in that paper that I wrote. And until this day, I think that professor should apologize to me. He, even after all of these years, he should call me and say, "I'm so sorry. I was wrong. Like I was being like sensitive, and I wasn't thinking like on a mature scholarly level, and I should have never crossed out what you wrote because what you wrote was rather brilliant, and I apologize." That's the phone call that I'd like to receive.
You know what? I love to remind my department head. I took a class with him when I was in my undergraduate many years ago.
Okay.
And you were supposed to write your own definition for this term or whatever, and I turned it in. And after class, he called me up and said, if you're gonna quote stuff from other material, you have to cite it, or else it's plagiarism. I'm gonna be okay. It's gonna be fine, right? So accused me of plagiarizing stuff. I said I wrote that myself, and he sort of looked it over. He goes, "Really? You?" Yes, I wrote that myself because I'm actually a good writer. Could be why I got published in the
So
in
he
the
thought that you
college's
stole it.
he thought that I had plagiarized what I had turned in.
That's
It was
really
it was a
rude.
very
That's
short
just-
thing. It was like a 1 paragraph thing, and he was just like, if you're gonna take this from something. So I get to remind him of that on a regular basis.
That's so embarrassing.
And we
I'd
have a
be
laugh.
embarrassed if
We
I
have a
was him.
laugh about it because he recognized later on that, oh, actually, yeah, this guy's a really good writer. Because
That's crappy. I think that's really rude.
it was.
that he-
Oh, we have a good laugh about it now because he just
Well, at
he
least-
was just expecting like the typical students don't write at that sort of at that level. Right? They don't write really solid like college level stuff with the words and stuff in it that I was that I was writing the way I wrote the definition, and he was just sort of taken aback. He's like, wait, no, you really wrote this? Like, yes, I did actually.
I personally think that's very rude. But if you have a laugh about it now, then I have
Yeah,
nothing.
it's easy to laugh off now. I mean, it wasn't like I was punished for it or anything,
No,
right?
but
It was just
I would be really disappointed if I were you at that moment if somebody said that to me. But I understand that it's all water under the bridge, and now everybody's friends, and I respect that. Istophobo says, I think Kelly McDonald is more attractive now than she was in Train Spotting. My Department Q comment was more of a reflection on anyone else in the show. I understand. That's fine. I mean, you can also like her or not like her. I'm just saying that I think she's fine. I don't have any issue with her. And actually, when I was watching Department Q, I'm like, oh, it's Kelly McDonald. Like, I was actually somewhat happy to see her. But Speaking of happy to see people, did you see Jurassic World Rebirth, Professor?
Oh no, I did not. I haven't bothered seeing any of them since Fallen Kingdom. So I
Okay.
did see chatting with Tom on Midnight's Edge After Dark earlier. We were kind of looking at how the different ones have been graded, been rated, the kind of money that they made on these over the years. And I did look at everyone's favorite cinema score, right?
Right.
Where a B is a failing grade. And so we were looking at that. And this, of all the Jurassic World films, Rebirth has the lowest cinema score grade of any of them to this
You know,
point.
I'm
So
going to tell you something. I went to see this movie yesterday, and
okay.
I personally I like the original Jurassic Park movie, the one from 1993. To this day, I like that movie. I think that one's a game changer. To I probably didn't need any sequels after that. I felt that that was a great standalone movie, and instead of letting just be it be this classic, iconic movie, they added a bunch of sequels which really were never necessary. Back in the day when there was I don't know if it was called The Lost World, and then there was the number three. Those movies I've seen once many years ago, and I barely even remember what happened in them, but I remember not thinking much of them. Later, you had Jurassic World. I think the first one, which was basically a rehash of the original, but with Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard, I thought that was fine. It was okay. I thought that it was nice to see more modern CGI and the dinosaurs and whatever. The movie had its issues, but I didn't completely hate it. Fallen Kingdom, I think that it has a lot of issues. Initially, it's a movie I could barely get through. I didn't even watch it until the end. But some friends of mine convinced me to watch the whole thing, and I watched the whole thing. And some ideas I liked about it, some things I liked, but some things I didn't like. And it's not a great movie, not by a long shot. It's obviously one of the weaker entries in the entire franchise. Then you had Dominion, that I finally I watched it once and I fell asleep, and then recently, now I think the past few days, I actually sat down and watched it before watching this Rebirth thing. It kind of bored me, Dominion. Did you see Dominion?
No, I didn't bother. I've seen some clips from it, but I really did not like where they were going with the story after they finished up Fallen Kingdom,
You
and
know, Fallen
I
Kingdom,
just really couldn't care less
the
about
thing
what
that the little girl releases all the dinosaurs or whatever, there's some nonsense that happens there that doesn't make any sense. And the third one, I just thought it was like just too busy with a bunch of crap, and I lost my investment. I just couldn't care less about anything I was seeing on screen, and that's the feeling, like apathy. That's what I felt in Dominion. Even with all those characters coming back, the original, the OG characters, couldn't care less about anything. I just didn't feel any really much of anything. So I went in, I saw this Jurassic World Rebirth. I saw like the trailer and the marketing for it, and it didn't really win me over. I didn't like the posters. I didn't like how Scarlett Johansson looked in it. I didn't like that it seemed like they were making her a girl boss. I felt that it didn't need another sequel to begin with, and it's too soon, even if you ever wanted to make one. And there was just nothing that got me excited, and it didn't help that she's going to the papers and talking about how she doesn't like the male gaze. It's like so many things that could be annoying were annoying about this movie. So I walked in with zero expectations, and I sat there and watched it, and you know what? I didn't completely hate it. It's not a great movie. It's not groundbreaking. It doesn't really bring anything new to the table. It's not good like the first Jurassic Park. It's probably not good like Jurassic World. But you know what? Maybe better than those sequels to Jurassic World. Maybe it's on par kind of with Jurassic World, or maybe not as good as Jurassic World, but better than its sequels. There are some things that it gets right. Now, when I say gets right, it's not that the screenplay is especially well written. It's just like if you want a mindless movie where there's some dinosaurs and it looks, pretty impressive in parts, and there's some pretty interesting kind of set pieces and things like that, and this is a movie that you can enjoy. Uh, I feel like some of the writing and the screenplay is very, instead of like showing, they tell. Do you get what I'm saying? Like you have characters that instead of learning about them through
sure.
clever writing, they're like, "You're always so angry. Yes, I am angry, and you are always like this and this. Yes, and you are like this." It's like, dudes, just act the way you act. Stop
Yeah.
telling each other who you are. You know what I mean? Like there's
You're not
really, you
you're
know what
not
I'm
the
saying?
only one I've heard mention that it being rather exposition heavy with a lot of yeah. a lot
It's
of
not.
talking where they could have just helped you see that if it were written properly. But yeah,
It's like written for people. I don't want to use the R word, but you know what I'm saying. Some of the way that they explain things are like the R word situation, and
well,
for no reason. With just a little more effort, it could have been a screenplay that just does a few things in a more nuanced way. It really could have done it, and there was enough to work with here. You know, the first act of the movie for me, there were actually maybe that's the act that I liked the most, because there's a part that they're like on a boat and there's some like water dinos or whatever it is. I kind of like that because it almost gave me a little bit of a feeling of like Jaws in a way, and
yeah,
I
sure.
kind of like that. So the first third of the movie, at least the action or whatever you want to call it, was pretty cool. Second one, like it's a situation where they're sort of crashing on an island and scattered, and that really starts like floundering around because there's like two different plots happening at the same time, and I feel like that wasn't done so great. And finally, like you know, in the third act, it all kind of comes together, and it kind of I don't know. It's not like the greatest grand finale I could imagine. And with all that being said, between like the cool visuals with the dinosaurs and just the overall atmosphere and sitting in a theater and watching it, I didn't suffer. I would say that this is better than Fallen Kingdom, and it is better than Dominion for me. Maybe because they didn't try to continue all these stories, they just had whatever they had. It's a simple movie. You know, sometimes you see these kind of also people that like Godzilla go and see like a Godzilla movie, and it's not, especially the American ones, they're not very good. And you're just like, ah, whatever, it's fine. It's a fine popcorn movie. This was kind of like that. It's a fine popcorn movie. It's competently made in terms of like the visuals and sort of the epic feel and the music and things like that. It's just like the screenplay probably isn't as strong as it could have been. And maybe with more of an effort, they could have made this an actual, you know, more decent movie.
So it seems that Isfobos must have seen this as well. Jurassic product placement is what he called it. But yeah, I did not bother seeing this. I have not really been fond of the Jurassic World, you know, series of films you know, at all. The first one was all right. I enjoyed some of it. I thought it was well made. I thought the leads in that were enjoyable in their roles. I'm not a big fan of Bryce Dallas Howard, but I thought she did fine in that film. But yeah, the second one totally lost me. It was so dull, and some of the decisions the characters make are so stupid. And they bring up the whole weaponizing dinosaurs thing again, which is just massively stupid. And so yeah, when it came time for Dominion, I kind of looked at it. I was like, oh, geez, that's not. Uh, yeah, and so then this one, it was like, well, yeah, it just seems like they're going to keep layering it on. I mean, these movies are making crazy money for them. Not necessarily in the U.S. a
They,
lot
they,
of their a
they
lot of the
do
movie.
very well international, yeah.
Yes, a lot of the money that these movies are pulling in is coming in internationally.
I wonder to myself if part of the reason the screenplay seems like it was written for like 2-year-old idiots is because, like, at least when it comes to the dialogue, is because they're going for this kind of broad international appeal. But even that would surprise me. I mean, people around the world, you may, you know, there may be different cultures, and you may like this and not like that, or appreciate this or not appreciate that. But most of them aren't like idiots. You know what I mean? Like, I think that I don't care where you come from or what country you live in, having a screenplay that's a little more interesting and not just like so bland is not like anything bad. And yet still, you know, surprisingly, you know me, I will tear up a movie very easily. There was a lot here on paper and in the trailers and all that that is easily you can rip up. And there's certainly things that I can scrutinize here. There's a lot of issues with the movie, and yet still, I didn't hate it. I can't lie. I just sat there and I thought this is like a mindless, silly popcorn movie. There's some dinosaurs. Like I didn't hate the dinosaurs. They looked pretty good. And you know what? I still didn't hate it.
Well, all right. Price says, I didn't hate it. That's quite the review from
It,
you.
it is probably out of like out of the 7 Jurassic Park movies that exist until today, which I consider the first one good and all the rest like not so good. It's probably like in third place out of 7 or something, which it's better than nothing. You know what I mean? Like it's still that counts for something, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah, counts for something.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Bryce Dallas Howard either. I don't know why. I mean, it's not that she's done something bad for me. It's just that there's certain like actors and actresses that like have this kind of charm that I find kind of compelling, and she's never really like given me that feeling that she's that compelling. I don't really know why. It's nothing personal. It's not like I hate her, but I just I it's she's not like the kind of person where you say, well, Dallas Howard is in this movie, and I'm like, okay, where do I take my money? You know what I mean? Like that it doesn't work that way for me.
Yeah, yeah, she's not one that just yeah, makes me just super excited to run out and
No,
see.
and you know what? People are saying, oh, like over the course of those like Jurassic thing, like she gained weight, and like people, and then other people are like, oh, how dare you say that? That's not nice, and blah blah blah. And it's like, I've said
Yeah.
it before. If I am going to get paid millions of dollars to be in like blockbuster movies that make about $1 billion at the box office worldwide, that I will then also have a back end from those billions of dollars, I am going to the gym. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to hear any of that. Oh, how dare they? Like with Kate Winslet the other day. How dare they body shame me? Yeah, you're making millions of dollars. Just shut up. Like, they gave you millions of dollars. They told you don't eat like a bunch of sandwiches. Just do what they said. That's what they gave you millions of dollars for. You know what I mean? Like you can't sit around and whine about like this whole crap of the what they said in the press and whatever she was saying. So I feel like Bryce Dallas Howard also had a bit of this at some point. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that I don't care if you're a man or a woman or whatever you are. If you're getting millions of dollars, and they expect you to be thin for the movie, you lose the weight, or else
Well,
you don't get paid.
for Jurassic World Dominion, it was my understanding that the studio told her she needed to be back in fighting fit shape. She needed to be, lose weight and be back in shape so that she appeared, very much
Not
like she had in the previous films.
right, exactly.
And then the director, Colin Trevorrow, intervened and told them that they were being, whatever, body shaming, whatever, and that she could show up in whatever shape she wanted for the film. So
I disagree with all this. And then later she's like, "Why do the men get more money than me? Why did this? Why did that?" Well, first of all, I mean, I hate to say this, but she's the daughter of Ron Howard. uh Her path into like doing stuff in the entertainment industry was a very pleasant one. Now, I'm not saying that it's enough. Sometimes like having the nepo connections or whatever it is, it doesn't mean that you're automatically going to be great or even like be competent or anything like that. I'm not saying she doesn't know how to do anything or that she's the worst actress or anything like that, but if her father wasn't Ron Howard, I don't know if we know who Bryce Dallas Howard is.
yeah,
I'm saying that
yeah.
that's the truth,
No, it's absolutely the truth, 100%. She is a nepo baby, no question at all.
and she acts like one
Yeah,
too. It's
yeah.
interesting that a lot of times these nepo babies have a lot to say. It's like, lady, you're so fortunate. Just take your million. You already had millions, and now you have more millions. And just take the money and leave us alone. You know what I mean? Only somebody that has the backing of her family with with like the hundreds of millions of dollars can sit around and tell the studio, "No, I don't feel like eating salad. Like screw you. I'm gonna eat this like gonna eat an entire turkey today." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the only person. Anybody that had really something to lose would be saying, you know what, you're right. I'll take the millions of dollars and I'll go to the gym and I won't eat sandwiches. I'll eat like boiled chicken with like with seaweed salad or whatever it is that they eat. She's also a redhead. Usually that means you're done in Hollywood. I don't mind the redhead angle, but yeah.
Personally, I like a redhead, but
Yeah, I don't mind redheads. I don't mind at all. I'm trying to think when the last time there was an actress that was a redhead that. Which actresses are there that are redhead?
Oh, well, there's that awful freckled Jesus who's been in
Oh
a bunch
no,
of
yeah,
different
no,
films now. I don't
she's
remember. She's
not my style. That
no.
freckled Jesus. Do you think they're still going to continue to try to make her a thing, or can they leave
Oh,
us alone?
they're never gonna stop trying to make her a thing. Are you kidding?
I don't
Uh,
I don't understand this. It's like somebody is extorting someone. Like the fact that there were like movies and they kept putting her in every single one of them. And listen, again, I say this about myself. It's not that I'm applying it only to other people like a douche. I also don't think that somebody should give me all this money to appear in all these movies, and that's why I don't appear in them. I'm saying that I don't think she should be there either. You know what I'm saying? People that appear in movies, unless it's like a very specific character actor role, and it helps if you have a lot of character. You know what I'm saying? Like Danny DeVito has a lot of character. Do you get what I'm saying?
oh yeah, absolutely.
If you need a character actor, nobody's thinking that you're bringing Danny DeVito and you're getting, like, even when he was young, like a world class model. You're bringing Danny DeVito because he has character and you like that character. And there's women that have character too. You know, I would argue that at least back in the day, Whoopi Goldberg had a lot of character. I don't think very much of her these days, but I think that back in the day you had something like that. I'm trying to give you an example where you don't have to be drop dead gorgeous if you bring something to the table, you know, as an actress or as an actor.
Yeah.
There's certainly room for character actors and actresses, and you don't have to be like, you know, dead gorgeous for every single thing. But the kind of roles they gave her, uh, she doesn't have the character actor thing going because she's not an especially good actress, and at the same time, she doesn't have the drop dead gorgeous looks. So if you can't satisfy at least one of those categories or both, it starts to become an issue.
Yeah, it really
And
is.
you know what? I'm going to say something else. I think that, you know, maybe I wouldn't offer myself like a role. I probably wouldn't. But if I did, I could maybe pull off the character. You know, it could be that like whoever is like the big star is walking in and there's some like, you know, asshole sitting somewhere and maybe talking to him at some establishment or something. Maybe I could be that asshole for like a few minutes on screen. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I'd at
Yeah.
least bring some character to the role, but I'm not fooling anybody. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that I would carry the whole movie. And if somebody actually gave me the money to carry the movie, like in Dallas Howard's situation, I would make my best efforts. It probably wouldn't be enough, but I would make an effort like that. You can't even understand the kind of effort that I would make for the millions of dollars. I don't even care about like you're like, oh, you're doing it for the fame and this. I don't care about any of that. I'll take the millions.
Yeah.
Like if Disney tomorrow is making like a woke a woke, what have they not already made like a woke version of, like a woke song of the South, and they want me to play like they want me to play like the fisherman or whatever it is. I will play that fisherman. And if they tell me you have to go to the gym and play the fish, I'll do whatever you want. I'll play in the stupid movie. I'll sing zippity doo dah. If you give me millions of dollars, I'll do all of that. I'll even go and like if you interview me, I won't do like a Rachel Zegler. I'll say like, "Man, this movie is fantastic. I love this fucking movie." That's what I'll say to that. Somebody will walk up to me from Variety. Is this the gayest remake ever? Yes. It's
Yes, it
so good. I
is.
love it. I fucking love it, dude.
Hear that, Hollywood? Price is for sale. The price of reason
Price
is
of Reason is millions of dollars, and
millions of dollars.
I'll play that guy. I don't know. You know the guy from Song of the South? I will play
Yep.
him. I'll do it'll be like a swap. You know what I mean? We'll do like a. I'll do like is it whitewashing? What would it be considered?
Yeah, yeah. Race swap, whitewash. Yeah.
I want to play that guy, the guy that sings Zippity Doodah, right? It's funny. I always thought it was like Louis Armstrong, but then it turns out it's somebody else. I haven't watched that movie in a long time.
Oh, you can't hardly find it anywhere.
Who plays? I want to be like zippity doo dah, zippity. I want to be that guy. Can't even do his groggy voice, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a wonderful
That
day.
was oh gosh, I'm gonna have to look it up real quick. Uncle Remus was James Baskett.
I'm gonna replace the great James Baskett.
James Baskett, who was the first
I
African
want to do
American.
that, and I want to go to talk shows. I want to go to talk shows and say, finally, little kids will be able to turn on their TV and see themselves on screen. I'm
Yeah.
going to say that. I'm going to do the swap, and I'm going to go on all the talk shows and do that. And if when the guy from Variety asks me if it's gay, I'll say it's super gay. As long as you pay me the millions of dollars, I will go along with any shit. You can bring Lin-Manuel Miranda to rework the songs and make them like, have rap in the middle, like, yo, zippity doo, yeah. Like, I'll do that. I'll do that shit too, man. Sorry, Sean.
Yeah.
You didn't expect this now at 2 hours into our streams that I'm going to be doing the Song of the South.
I didn't.
The woke version, did you?
Yeah, the woke version of Song of the South. Boy, that's something. But I will say, for those who don't know, James Baskett, he was the first actor to receive an Oscar, even though it was an honorary one, for a performance in a Walt Disney film.
Did not know that.
Yeah, he's the first actor ever to receive an Oscar for a Walt Disney film. One of the handful of first people, black men to receive an Oscar, and all of that. Actually, was he the first? He was the first African American man to receive an Oscar. Again, it was honorary at the time, but still received that Oscar. But then, on top of that, we're talking about a man who was not allowed to attend the premiere of his own film. It premiered in Atlanta, and although technically he could have shown up for the film, he would not have been allowed to participate in any of the other festivities that were going on around it, because Atlanta was still racially segregated. So he would not have been allowed in the hotels and restaurants and whatever where all the rest of the stuff was taking place.
I did not know that. That's
when Whoopi tries to tell you that we're worse off in the United States today than we were, many years ago.
Whoopi Goldberg
is full of shit. Yeah,
she's become such a joke. Do you remember there were years that Whoopi Goldberg was actually a respected actress? Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah, I do. Yeah, Color Purple. Gosh, what were another one that she did?
Jumping Jack Flash. I know it's old. I like that. I liked her in Star Trek.
Theodore Rex.
What'd you say?
I'm trying to remember. Was it Theodore Rex? Was that the name of the dinosaur?
I don't even remember. But there was what's his face? Ghost. Even Sister Act was kind of funny. She was just like, she was this type of actress that was reliable. You put her in a movie, she could do funny, she could do drama. She really was a talent. I know it's hard to believe now, because all you do is see her sitting there. It's like she's not even the same person. She's just some bitter weirdo sitting there and talking a bunch of crap.
Oh yeah, it's wild. Her claiming that black people were as bad off here as they would be in Iran or something like that. It's madness, absolute idiocy. We have some super chats to share.
We do. And I first of all, I want to say to Facutinho 93, happy 4th of July. So
yes, you can see my fireworks. I have fireworks.
Oh, nice. So happy 4th of July. Yes, I see the fireworks. Very nice.
I'm kind of surprised that you can't hear the fireworks going on outside. We've got some early people celebrating. Actually, they quit it about half an hour ago, but we had some people celebrating a little bit early this evening, shooting off quite a bit of stuff outside.
I see. So after Operation Mockingbird, which we read before for $1.99, the Dead Man for $5 says, Price, I actually like the movie where Padme lived in a Walmart. I don't know what to tell you. That movie, it just didn't do it for me. I don't know why she was living in a Walmart. And I'll be honest with you, Natalie Portman doesn't generate the type of vibe even as an actress, even when she's acting. I don't believe she lives in a Walmart. I just don't believe it. If it was like a Gucci store, I would probably believe it. In a Walmart, I don't buy it. It's not that good of an actress. But that's just me. Uh, back in the day before they started like nominating her for stuff and telling her that she's like a great actress or whatever it is, I think that Natalie Portman as a young actress was pretty good and she was more likable as a person, but she became kind of snobby, in my opinion. She
Yeah,
became very snobby over the years, and that's the vibe I get from her these days, and it's a vibe that I don't especially like.
she was very enjoyable in The Professional. That she did a great job, especially as young as she was in that role. She did a great job. But
That's the height of her career.
it
Was
seems
making
like it really was.
right.
Unfortunately,
It only went downhill from there. Yeah, they gave her later an Oscar, whatever it is. I don't know what they did, but really for me, that's like the top. That's the top of her career, The Professional.
I know there's quite a few people who liked. Was it Black Swan? Was that the name of it?
Yeah,
Is it, I watched it and it just left me cold. I just didn't really care about it. It was clearly it was about a woman dealing with mental illness and obsession. It was
it's more for women that like dancing and shit. Sorry, Sean. So I guess I wasn't the target audience. Dead Man Says Price. So yeah, I actually like the Padme. It's fine if you liked it. It was not my favorite movie. And then he said Operation Northwards. I don't know what Operation Northwards is.
that would be
And that's for $1.99.
Let me look it up here. That operation I'm sure it's another CIA operation since that's what he was referring to earlier. Yes, it was a proposed false flag operation by the CIA in which they proposed to commit acts of terrorism against American military and civilian targets and then blame the Cuban government for it so that they could justify a war against Cuba. This was only a proposed operation. It didn't actually take place.
I like what Caleb Levine said. He said Winona Ryder couldn't live in a Walmart either because she'd be stealing everything. It's kind of funny.
You didn't seem to know what Theodore Rex was, so I was.
No, show me what Theodore Rex is. I have no idea.
The future's toughest cop is Katie Coltrane.
I'm back.
And now she's getting a new partner.
His
His name is Teddy.
Hit me. It's a dinosaur.
You two solved this case together.
Oh, what? It's a dinosaur.
New partner, Coltrane?
He's got the style.
I'm here for a new look.
Step right up.
Push the button.
He's a cop.
Mahalo.
You gotta make him look like a real cop.
I'm too sexy for my clothes.
That thing at the table just clacked at me.
He's got horns for you. It's very normal.
He's got the charm.
Hey!
Your mind shut down and your glands have taken over.
And he's got the appetite
You cannot eat our only suspect.
to come out
Yes.
on top.
Boom!
I'm amazing.
New Line Cinema presents
And you think you're gonna get somebody?
Whoopi Goldberg.
Can you just slide your butt? Yeah, that's great.
Like that?
And introducing
Dougie!
Teddy.
Sweets.
Ah.
One per customer.
Theodore Rex.
Pig.
It's a tale you'll never forget.
I love when he does that.
I'm not going to lie to you. I think that looks awful.
It is quite simply one of the worst things ever made. It is so appallingly bad. I actually had a group of friends that would watch this yearly.
It looks awful.
Just to make fun of it. It's because it's sort of this forgotten thing, and it is. I mean, look at the IMDb rating up there too.
I understand. I even saw that stupid movie.
It is
That
dreadful.
Whoopi Goldberg is like a basketball coach in the NBA or some stupid crap like that, and that seemed better than this.
Yeah. Oh no, the Theodore Rex is punishingly bad. There's a reason it's so difficult to find today. No one wants you to ever watch it again.
Was that what's his face? What was I gonna say? Was that "Open the Door," Everybody Walk the Dinosaur? Is that the song that I heard?
Yes.
Oh.
Although I'm pretty sure it was just a cover. It was not the actual.
It wasn't the real one, they had to use the cover.
I'm
Imagine
guessing it
having
wasn't
to
even
use the
the.
cover for that shitty song.
Yeah.
Everybody Walk the Dinosaur. It's such a dumb song. I don't even know how it became a thing. And unfortunately, I think I had, like, a cassette with it, which really I feel like I'm ashamed. I need to somehow save face like, China.
Empress in him says it made Howard the Duck look like a masterpiece. Yes, it did. It did
even
indeed.
by the trailer, I can say that, yeah. Oh, well, that was crazy.
Yeah, that was perhaps that was when Whoopi started losing some respect in the in the Hollywood community. I don't know, but
What was
yeah.
that
Wow.
Coen Brothers movie, that I'm talking about that had,
Oh, I don't know. I was not able to find anything in my quick search that I did. So
what's it called? How can I know? Oh, okay. I think I know what it is. A Serious Man, student. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, are you ready?
Yep.
Is everybody ready? I'm going to share this. This is for you, Professor. I'm dedicating this scene to you.
Yep. I barely there was some part of me remembered that I couldn't remember it was a Chinese student, but yeah, the I would I would say I've never been bribed. I've never been bribed. I've never been offered sexual favors or any of that stuff that you see in the movies. People, throwing, women throwing, their panties at you to get better grades. That has not happened. That has not happened. But the students coming in and complaining about their grades, all the time. All the time. Well, it's not fair. Why did I get a bad grade? Well, you got a bad grade because you didn't answer the questions correctly. Well, I understand the material. Clearly, you do not understand material because you didn't answer the questions correctly. So I really don't know what to do for you. Oh, maybe could we, could you maybe let me take the test again? No. No, I can't. Could I take a different test? No. Like that stuff happens all the time. It's wild. So you literally the way out, and it actually took me a while to figure this out. Is you just put all the rules in the syllabus. And so when the students come, they ask you, so like, oh, can I, do this again, or can I make this up, whatever? I'm sorry, there's absolutely nothing in the syllabus that would allow me to do that for you. Sorry.
Well, if I ever have to teach a class, that's
You just put it all down in the syllabus, and then that way there's nothing they can do. And if it says in the syllabus, there's no extra credit, or you can't make up assignments after a certain date or whatever, then you stick to it, and you just say, well, sorry, syllabus. Yeah.
I never thought of that. That's actually a good idea. But I was trying to.
The fireworks of reason.
Yeah, I was trying to do that, but somehow I messed it up. I made myself disappear.
You put the
Yes.
the movie is on the top layer there, probably in OBS. It needs to be on the bottom.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna fix it. I know this doesn't look good.
Troubleshooting OBS. Yeah. Caleb Levine says, but Professor Arthur, I didn't know I was supposed to answer the questions correctly. Yes. Yeah. And then, yeah.
Here you go.
Karate Werewolf wants to know what I've taught. So I've taught a number of different subjects, but primarily IT and different business topics, entrepreneurship, things of that nature in B school. Yeah.
We gave everybody a fireworks show.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah. Oh, they do quite the fireworks around here. I know the bigger cities, they'll put on their own big shows. Around here, everyone just puts on their own shows. And so I actually had a friend who does photography with a drone. He does various like professional work. And a couple of years ago, he took his drone up to show our area around here, and it's like 1,500 different fireworks shows all going on at once. Just one end of the countryside to the next. It was great.
By the way, I don't know, I've said it before, but since we're already a few hours in, if you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, if let's say you're watching on a platform like YouTube, you're enjoying the stream, you can click subscribe. There's nothing wrong with that. So there's that. And in addition, if you're on Rumble watching it, which is the headquarters for this show, make sure if you're watching through the app that you've actually signed up for Rumble, that you've joined Rumble. It's free, freedom of speech, and it's free. And then you followed us, and then you'll always know when we're streaming. So just throwing that out there again for those who haven't done it. There's no time like the present. What were you saying?
No, I was sympathizing with poor old Larry Gopnik there in the film, and the students coming and asking for things that you can't possibly give them. Because hey, I'm transferring to another school. I need good grades to make sure I can get it. I'm like, then you should have done the work in the class at the start. I do show I do have a meme that I show usually at the beginning of class when I'm introducing, the syllabus and everything to students, and it has the most interesting man in the world.
Yes.
I don't always, he says, I don't always care about my grades, but when I do, it's 2 weeks before class ends and and I need better grades so that I can keep my scholarships. It's like to tell them, if you want a certain grade, you need to start working for that grade today, not 2 weeks before class is out, because that's not going to work out.
Obviously.
Yeah. Oh, but there's students that think they can do it that way. I've had students that basically don't show up all semester long and then come in and ask me just like a week before class is out if they can just make up all the assignments during the semester. And so they're like, oh, can I at least or can all I need is a D. Can I just make up stuff? I just need a D. No.
The thing is that when I was in college, I would actually bother going to classes, and the reason for it is because I'm not much of a studier. Like, my strength is actually if I'm sitting in the class and actually listening to something and somebody taught me something, then there's a chance that maybe I know something. If you want me later to sit around with textbooks and read all day and teach myself, I don't really have patience for that. Like, I'm better off sitting and actually going to class. It's my best bet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I totally get it, and there's a lot of students that are that way, but they have other priorities. They're much more concerned with a college experience than they are with actually coming to college and learning something. And it's gotten even more complex with now with AI, where students can quite literally open an app on their phone and scan a problem on a worksheet and homework or something they have to do. And then find the answers that way, or they can copy and paste a question out of a quiz and into an AI to get it answered. It's really it's difficult. I'm not sure how we're going to manage to figure all this out, but thankfully, I mean, there are still students who actually do care, and they come to class and they ask questions, and when they're struggling, they come to get help. And I'm always happy to help those students, because they clearly do actually care about not just getting a grade and walking away with a piece of paper, but actually expanding their minds and learning something. And so that's really the whole point, right? is gaining skills and learning things. And there's quite a few students, in fact, I'm very, very much the same. Although, I was always a very good note taker. The note taking was actually the important part. It wasn't trying to cram later by reading the notes. Taking the notes is actually a tool for memorization, right? The physical act of writing those notes onto a piece of paper actually helps you commit them to memory. So yeah, that was me. And it was a good thing I had really good relationships with a bunch of faculty, because eventually I ended up coming back and working with some of them.
Speaking of working with faculty, did you see that there's some boxer that they're trying to deport?
Wow, that was an incredible transition, Price. I bow to you on that one. That's wild. Yes, they're gonna be there's what is it? What's his name? Julio.
Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
Yes, yeah, that was,
Recently, honestly, I don't always pay attention. I know recently he fought like Jake Paul. I've heard mixed things about this Jake Paul. Honestly, between Logan Paul and Jake Paul, not my cup of tea. For me,
no.
they're everything that, like, when you think of YouTubers that kind of bum me out. I think of, like, Logan Paul and Jake Paul. Have never really been a fan of them or their content or anything. And at some point, especially Jake Paul, he decided that he was going to be a boxer and use all of his like YouTube money, which is a lot. He was one of the early people that did a lot of stuff on YouTube. Did build a brand, can't take that away from him, and he kind of leveraged that to make himself a boxer, even though he didn't go through the traditional route of being a boxer. And I think a lot of people kind of raised their eyebrow at it. He would set up a lot of these fights with fighters that normally wouldn't even fight him, just because
Yeah,
he had money and influence and things like that. At the same time, some people, even Mike Tyson, have said that he actually has helped the sport, because otherwise, it was kind of dwindling down and people weren't paying attention to it, and he kind of helped kind of give it a shot in the arm, even if it looks stupid. I guess what he did help the sport. So I'm not completely knocking that, but I've never been a huge fan of his. He recently fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who himself has been around for a while, and I guess he beat him. And I saw a lot of people online making fun of it today, that not only was he beaten by Jake Paul, then ICE came and said that he needs to be
yeah,
deported.
yeah,
Uh, I have this clip here. Let me see
yeah.
what happens in it.
Well, first of all, he wasn't beaten by anybody. There was simply a contract that said he would lose. That's the way boxing works these days. They sign up. Oh, you're going to get this much money, and you're going to lose. That's how it works. The boxing is a joke now.
It's
It's
like
not. It's
the
not a real
Pulp
sport.
Fiction. You're saying
It's
it's
not a
like
real
Bruce
sport.
Willis in Pulp Fiction.
It's even more than that. It's completely corrupt. It's just like, remember the Mike Tyson fight with Jake Paul. Like, you're going to show up, you're going to fight for this amount of time, you're going to get paid all of this money, he's going to get paid all of this money, and then you're going to walk away. So yeah, that's what it is now. And Jake Paul's helped make it even worse.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that the thing with Mike Tyson is, I feel like his health wasn't so good, so they just coordinated that fight, but it's not a good look. What happened with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., I don't know, but I could believe what you said. I wouldn't put it beside anybody to do that. I don't have a lot of faith in the system. I just want to play this little clip because I'm not sure what it is.
A developing story here in the Sports Center. Mexican boxer Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. has been arrested by ICE in Los Angeles and slated for deportation. This comes just 5 days after he lost to Jake Paul in a fight in Anaheim. The Department of Homeland Security said in a statement that Chavez Jr. was wanted on an active arrest warrant for his involvement in organized crime. He's married to a U.S. citizen.
That's
Yes, but
interesting.
he is married to a U.S. citizen, but he applied for permanent residency, but has not been granted permanent residency. So that is not happened. He has overstayed a tourist visa. He had a tourist visa that expired in 2004. And yes, he is also being investigated for connections to the Sinaloa cartel. So all of that is 100% true. He overstayed a visa. He does not have permanent residency. He has been or is under investigation for potential cartel ties. So
I do feel that this is a rather high profile one. We've seen a lot of people that are kind of either more lower level or lower level, criminals, or less high profile, maybe not lower level criminals, but you know what I'm trying to say. This is actually a very high profile situation. And do you think that they're going to be facing any kind of backlash? Or do you think that this is a situation that maybe Trump and his team are trying to say, we don't care who you are, what your status is. in society. If you're like a boxer or a sports person, whatever it is, if you're doing something bad, we don't want you here. That seems to be the message.
I'll be honest with you. I think they wanted somebody high profile. They wanted to grab somebody who was high profile because they can say, look, we're going to enforce these rules no matter what. It doesn't matter if you're famous. It doesn't matter how much money you got in your bank account. It doesn't matter if you whatever. Suspected criminal ties, overstayed visa, you're done, right?
Yes, I agree with you. I also think that this kind of goes hand in hand with what's been going on with that alligator Alcatraz.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that people are like, how dare they do this alligator Alcatraz? The fact that it's even called alligator Alcatraz and like they show this thing with like the alligators, I think they love that. They want to create a feeling that not only for people in the US, and in my opinion, this is just my interpretation, they want to show that even if you're not in the US and you're thinking of doing something like coming here without the right documentation, well, they want to show you that they mean business. Whether it's Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., or whether it's that alligator Alcatraz, I feel like they're trying to send a message here.
I really
Am
think
I
they
right?
are. I really think you're right. I think they are trying to send a
Professor?
message. Oh, can you not hear me? Oh, yeah, Price is getting booted. And
Okay, I'm back.
the reset happened. Yeah, the great reset is upon us. Yep.
I don't know what the last thing I said was, but I was trying to say that I think alligator Alcatraz is also one of those kind of show and tell things that they want to send a warning to people, even people that aren't here. They want to show that, like, if you're going to come here and you don't have the right paperwork, you could end up at what they call alligator Alcatraz.
Oh yeah, I think it is intentionally being made high profile. It is being shown on the news. It's being talked about, and it is much more than trying to get that message to people who are here in the U.S. I think you're 100% right. It's about making sure that people in other countries know, don't come here unless you're doing it legally. Don't come here. And the Biden era of we'll just let anybody in kind of situation is over.
You even have, like, even after all of their disputes or whatever it is, you like, DeSantis and Trump actually selling this thing together.
Yep.
Trump even gave him some compliments, and he said, "Listen, sometimes we fight, but he's a decent guy. We may still fight in the future." And I think that if anything, when I see this, I feel like Trump is more of a politician this time around than he was the last time. He still does things his own way, but I feel like, I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like over time he's become more of a politician. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like, I think that initially, if like you just said something that annoyed him, like he'd remember forever that you annoyed him. And now I feel like he's just like, yeah, now he's fighting with this guy. Now he's not fighting with him. He's this, he's that. He seems more kind of like relaxed.
Yeah, and I think part of that. I think he's always had part of that. When people are not being cooperative, he's going to say nasty things about them and call them nasty names and so on. And then when people start to come around and start to work with him again, he's going to start saying better things about them, try and win them back over. So it's wild. Yeah, go ahead.
This app sometimes suggests the strangest people to me. Like, there's Gavin Newsom. Why would I want to be following Gavin
Well,
Newsom?
you've probably read a lot of his posts, and so they think you would want to follow him.
I thought I was following Mr. Berger. That's so weird. I know that I was following Mr. Berger. That's
Well, you can follow him live right now.
right. But here, see, I was following him. This is like
Mr.
some
Berger in
strange.
exile. Yeah.
I don't understand. What's the difference between if he's in exile or not?
I don't know. I don't know.
This is some strange psychological. It's like a psyop. Anyhow, they sometimes suggest the strangest people to me to follow. Like sometimes some awful people, like the most awful people on earth, and they're like, who to follow? It's like, screw you. And the funny thing is, I think I'm not recommended to anybody, and it's because of the ban that I was under back in the day. And I've always told you this, that I think I've only semi been released from the ban. It's like sometimes some of my posts will actually get through somewhere, but I feel like my page is never recommended to anybody. There will never be a person, in my opinion, that goes to Twitter and has like, hey, why don't you follow Price of Reason? They will give like the leader of like Iran, they'll recommend him before they recommend me. Do you want to follow like the Ayatollah? Like they're going to ask that before they offer you. Seriously, they're going to offer him before they offer me. Anyhow,
Very likely.
It is likely. I also noticed there was something going on, that there was some game that was canceled today. I forgot what it was, but it was something that was already some marketing for it. It was kind of a big deal that they canceled this. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Well, there were some huge things happening at Microsoft. Is that what you're referring to?
Well, that's the first thing. Let's start with Kivo 1961. He gave a $2 Rumble rant, and I just wanted to, mention that Gator Gitmo has a better flow with half the syllables than Alligator Alcatraz. I think, but Alligator Alcatraz sounds very, very official. Gator Gitmo sounds more like slangy. Alligator Alcatraz sounds like more, I don't know why, it sounds more official. I have no explanation as to why.
I 100% agree with Kivo 1961. Gator Gitmo is better. That's I like Gator Gitmo.
You like Gator Gitmo
part
better?
of that I think is probably because I have some family in Louisiana, and there would be gators in Louisiana. So yeah, it's Gator Gitmo works better for me.
Honestly, says after 15 years on Facebook, I got banned for talking about.
Yep, yeah, those people. Yep.
There's
going to be a lot of talk about that with the new mayor of New York.
This is funny. And follow Mr. Brown Alliance. He's like the Ayatollah, but vegan. That's a good one. That is a really good one. I love that comment.
Sometimes vegan.
I actually, I'm going to screenshot this thing, and I am going to send it to Mr. Brown myself.
The world's least committed vegan. It's great.
Okay, I have to send that to him. That actually cracked me up. Double R Star deleted Facebook in 2006. You know what I did? I actually have a Facebook, and I think that maybe at best once a year I post something. Maybe it's usually because I'm with a few people, and maybe somebody's like, "Oh, do you have a Facebook? Let's post a picture." Maybe that's like once a year, and probably for the past like 5 years, it's been once a year a picture. Maybe some years there wasn't even a picture. It exists, Facebook, and sometimes maybe there's an old contact or somebody there that I still can communicate with. Maybe somebody I knew years ago or haven't been in touch with. I still keep it, but honestly, Facebook has not been like a worthy, in my opinion, like a serious platform in a very long time. Not for me, at least. And Instagram, I've never really liked. I have an Instagram account. I think it has a picture of a cat or something in there, and like me hanging out with a Joker. Seriously, that's what I think my account is. I think I have like a picture with a Joker and a cat. Cat's like hanging out in an airport or something. During the coup, there was like an airport that wasn't operating, so cats moved in there, and they were sitting on like the baggage claim area, and there's just like a bunch of cats there. So you have like cats and the Joker, and that's like what I do. I think I have like a TikTok, which I doubt that there's anything there. Maybe a video, something stupid for years ago. I don't even know. I'm trying to think what else. I have a Blue Sky. I only opened it because I was worried that somebody else would open one. Because I actually, do you know that I have some weirdo imposter guy?
No, but it doesn't surprise me. Yeah.
There's a guy that has like maybe the handle, the price of reason or something like that. And I believe, I think it's a guy that I think it's me. I messed up. I think initially I couldn't get that handle, and later at some point it became available, and some jackass who had a different handle turned his into like price of reason. And then like he added like 70 pronouns to his name, and he like wanted to talk about like all the like far left things, and man does it annoy me. There's also something else that annoys me. You want to know what annoys me, Professor?
What is that?
There's this thing called like Wiki YouTube or something. Wiki YouTube.
Oh, Wikitubia. Yeah.
Wikitubia, whatever
Yep.
it is. Someone went there and updated that I have pronouns. It really annoys me. Like, why would somebody do that? You think I'm kidding? Let me show you. Let me show you what I mean now.
Oh, I've actually seen it. Yeah.
Did you see my pronouns?
No. Here.
Price of reason.
Yep. It's a
YouTube.
it's a fandom page. It's a fandom project on Wikitubia.
Wikitubia, which now has like a pride flag in its icon or whatever it is. So here you go. I found it. Let me share it. Are you ready?
I see it.
Okay. So this is my page. It says Price of Reason, blah blah blah. Follow Price of Reason on X. I don't know what, Instagram, Threads, or whatever that is. Website, and then if you scroll down, personal information, pronouns, he, him. Who would go and give them he, him as my pronouns? Somebody did this just to be a jerk. I'm sure of it. I'm not even sure how to get rid of it. I prefer that like I wouldn't be he, him. It's not my thing. If you love pronouns, that's up to you. I don't want pronouns like I've never been about that. I don't think I've added them anywhere. Anyhow. So
There's a lovely picture of you. Scroll down. There's a lovely picture of you at New York Comic Con.
yes, this is me
Yeah.
with MJ. I think
Yeah.
it's some version of MJ.
Hey,
right?
Tiger. No idea. who
It's
that's
like
picture
you know how later they had some of the woke MJs, like that she's now like the best or whatever it is. I feel like this is
Mhm.
one of those. But the lady in the costume seemed pleasant enough. So
And then there's a photo of you with Heath Ledger.
yes, with this guy is a really good Heath Ledger, impersonator. He really does look like him. So this is me with a Joker, and me with some strange version of MJ. I think it's MJ, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody in the comments can explain this. If it's like a woke MJ or whatever it is, or she's now like in some tiger lady or something. I don't even fucking know. Sorry, Sean. Yeah, so that's what you could see here. Very interesting page. I did not add those pronouns. That's all I can
Yeah.
say.
Well, they did throw some details in there for you. Talks about you being shadow banned on Twitter.
Well, that part is true, but I did not add my pronouns, and I didn't add it to any profile or say it to anybody. So I don't know who would do that, but it feels like it wasn't done in good faith. But now you tell me about what's going on, all these firings in Microsoft.
Well, as you know, Microsoft for some time now has been buying up studios like crazy. They bought up Activision Blizzard. They bought up there's a bunch of them. I'm not even going to try and name them all, but they've been buying up studios like crazy, and now they've been canceling a whole bunch of different projects and firing a whole bunch of people. And so there's firing. They call them layoffs, but there's been layoffs. They're saying somewhere between 6,000 and 9,000 employees being laid off, and they've also canceled a number of different projects. Primarily, the ones I think that we were talking about recently were Perfect Dark. Is that the one that you saw?
Yeah, that was the one that I saw. Perfect Dark.
Yeah,
That's
so
exactly it.
that Perfect Dark, and then there was another game was also coming from the same company. It's a company called Rare, and Rare was an extremely successful company. They really made their name with Nintendo. So Rare, I actually have a copy of one of their first titles sitting around here for the original Nintendo. But Rare was a UK studio, and they made just a ton of games for I'm trying to remember. I think they really became a huge second party company during the N64 era. Let me see. I was gonna look at a list of the games. So yeah, they made some of their more popular stuff. You might have, retro stuff is just more of what you'll remember. Battletoads. You remember Battletoads? That was a great game.
Yeah, that was a classic. I
Yeah,
really liked
absolute
Battletoads.
classic. They had some other early games for the Nintendo back in the day.
I think Battletoads came out after Ninja Turtles, but it was still pretty cool.
Yeah. It had its own sort of interesting.
I think initially when I saw it, I'm like, come on, Battletoads. But then I played it and I actually am like kind of like this game.
Yeah, well, it was really built more like a Double Dragon kind of fighter, and then they had they actually ended up later on doing a Battletoads Double Dragon mashup, which was actually pretty good as well. But let's see, what was I was just looking at a list of the games that they had made here over the years. They were responsible for the Wizards and Warriors series. Let's see. Battletoads was a big one. Later on, they made the Donkey Kong Country for the Super Nintendo. Killer Instinct, which was a fighting game that used photorealistic characters in it. It was extremely popular. Both
Donkey Kong Country I played. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Didn't play the other one you said.
Yeah. That's not everyone's into fighting games, but yeah, Killer Instinct was a big hit among certain audiences. They really became huge. I mean, I think really gained a lot of notoriety with GoldenEye 007 for the N64. That
was a classic.
Absolute, just incredible title, and it blew everybody away. They continued to make those games. Later on, the follow up, they couldn't do another James Bond. They couldn't get the property to do another GoldenEye 007 game, so they did Perfect Dark, which was used as an upgraded version of the engine for the N64 to make another game, and it was actually quite good. It sort of had a secret agent, and you were investigating this mystery and conspiracy, and then you find out there's aliens involved and everything. It was a pretty good game. It was enjoyable. It came fairly late in the N64's life, but it was a really enjoyable game. It didn't have the same success that GoldenEye did, though. Like they weren't going to follow that up. But yeah, they were later on. Eventually, they were bought up by Microsoft, and since then they've only had a handful of titles. Most of them have been sort of like remakes of their older titles. Like they made Perfect Dark Zero. They made some other stuff, newer versions of Killer Instinct, newer versions of Banjo-Kazooie. They've had a handful of things here and there since they moved over to doing stuff, but more recently, the biggest thing they've had recently was the Sea of Thieves game. I don't know if you heard of that one or not, but that was one that ended up going straight to the Game Pass, right?
Yeah.
So the Caleb Levine says, now I have the xylophone GoldenEye theme stuck in my head. Thanks, R2. Yeah, you're welcome.
That was a great game. I haven't played that in a really long time, but that was a great game.
Yeah. It's an excellent one. So yeah, they had planned to have a new Perfect Dark game as well as a game called Everwild that were going to be coming out, I guess whenever they were finished. But those are both those projects have been canceled. A whole bunch of staff have been let go, and they're not the only ones. The layoffs are all over the place, and so you went from a you went from a company that seemed to just be winning in every way that they could in gaming, buying up all these studios. So all their games were going to be strictly for Xbox or strictly for PC, whatever. And then they moved entirely over to this Game Pass model where now hardly any of these titles are actually being bought. No one's actually paying for these titles. Now everybody just gets Game Pass, and then they get these brand new games that come out. They don't pay anything for them. And so everyone, all of these studios that are all under Microsoft are all just fighting for a piece of that pie to be able to keep operating. And it's just not working out. It is. And a lot of people, said that early on. That was their estimation, was that we could cram, as many games, as many studios you wanted at Microsoft, that, however much it's going to be a month that they're asking for is simply not enough to sustain all of those games and everything. And it also doesn't help that Microsoft has been extremely hands-on, getting up in these studios business, telling them what to do and when to do it. And, you have to change this character, make her black. You've got to change this character, add some gay themes into it, or, add more non-binary characters or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, constantly telling these studios, forcing the, studios, although a lot of them were more than happy to comply. But that they had to have all of this stuff. And the same went for hiring of people in these businesses. From everything we've heard, that all of these studios were being forced into some very, strict hiring policies that were requiring a lot of DEI hires in their businesses. And as a result, we're pretty quickly starting to fall behind and not able to develop titles because the people who had talent were out. It was people who had the right pronouns, people who had the right genders or the right skin colors that were in. And so, Microsoft's in bad shape. And in fact, some people have even, I believe, Endymion tweeted earlier today, or maybe it was yesterday, where he said Xbox is dead. Just like straight up. They've screwed the pooch on this one pretty hard. And ever since they started this strategy of buying up studios and all that, and moving to Game Pass, where you can you just get all the games, everything we develop, you just get everything, and you don't even have to have an Xbox to play it. You can play it on PC or wherever you want. It's just not worked out. It's just not worked out for them at all. So
I see.
Yeah, it's in bad shape. And I would not be surprised to find out that Rare as a developer probably will not exist anymore in the short term. And they're not going to be the only ones either.
Maybe they should donate money to the BBC.
No, there you go.
Maybe those guys in Africa in that village,
I'm sure that would work out well.
will want to play these games.
They start donating Xboxes to needy families in Uganda or something. So someone's playing the games at least, although they can't buy them, they can't afford them. Especially with Xbox now, not only are the quality of their titles collapsing, and then everyone moving to Game Pass, but then they think they can raise the price of their games as well and raise the price of their consoles. And that's all of those things together are going to mean some very bad news for Microsoft. So there's been a number of other things that have been involved in these layoffs. Microsoft apparently is completely gutting the mobile teams at Activision Blizzard. So there's going to be some titles that are no longer supported at all and will be shutting down in the near term. And there's been a few other things rumored as well. So yeah, it's not good for Microsoft. They're going to be in a bad state pretty soon. At least in the gaming world. When it comes to their business software and selling OSs to people, unfortunately, I think they will continue to be dominant. But oh yeah, you can play the Xbox on that.
They're going to give the Xbox to them.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, I'm sorry I'm bringing this up again because this is the picture from the BBC's website that apparently Bill Gates gives them money and then they help literally spread the message in Africa. What are these people listening to on this radio? What do you think they're listening to? They're listening to, like, you know, who are they listening to on this transistor?
Well, if I knew who was on the BBC, I would probably know. But yeah, the BBC radio. I'm sure.
You think that in this village they're going to be listening to the BBC on this radio?
No idea. Probably.
Maybe. I don't
maybe
know.
Maybe if they give them maybe if the BBC gives them the radio, that's the only thing it can tune into. Right.
Right.
You know, they used to do that. Did you ever have a radio station do a promotion in your area where they would give away radios? But the
I know exactly what you mean, and you could only listen to their crappy station.
Yeah, the radio was like glued in. It was tuned.
So this is
to
it.
Their station, and that was all you could get was their station on their little radio that they gave you as a promotion. So that's yeah. They're giving them radios, but they can only pick up whatever the BBC radio station is.
Caleb Levine says those people are definitely not listening to Price of Reason because he's shadow banned in Africa. Probably. But that's probably what they're doing. They give them a radio. They like airdrop radios that you can only listen to BBC. And then you have to sit there and listen to like their kind of agendas. It would be kind of funny if it's not kind of sad. But I wonder, maybe they bring like television to some of these villages and they say like, here, now you can watch Nshudi Gatwa or like Jodie Whittaker. I wonder if these African ladies sat there and somebody's like, here's Jodie Whittaker. They sat there and thought this is great. They really were excited. I don't know what to tell you.
I wanted to know why Jodie Whittaker was talking about oppression in India or whatever. Yeah.
A live broadcast of Parliament giving them free houses in the UK. Who knows?
Yeah, it's probably a recruiting tool. Yeah, hey, get on the boat. Come to the UK.
Could be, yeah. Let's see.
I do know that we're lucky that there were certain stations in Africa and in I think in Australia where they had to send copies of Doctor Who on physical media because they couldn't retransmit it or anything, so they had to send recordings of Doctor Who episodes to them so that they could air them. And that's the only reason that there's some of those early Doctor Who's that we got back, because they found that they had copied over, they had recorded over the tapes that the BBC had of early Doctor Who, but they had sent them to some of these other stations in like I said, like Africa and other places, and they held on to the tapes, and so later on they were able to find them. And there were copies of those episodes.
Yeah, but those were actually good episodes. I don't think anybody's holding on to Jodie Whittaker.
Oh no, no one's going to bother there.
And anyhow, I think it's worth researching more what the BBC does with their charity arm. It's like, sounds like the most like strange operation I've heard. But yeah, I think that Was there anything else that we wanted to cover?
Oh, not so much. I think we got to everything that was on the list there. Talked a bit about Microsoft. Yeah, gosh. I know on Tuesday we'll both be back here having seen Superman.
Oh,
So that will
wow.
be
Yeah, Superman.
yeah.
I really hope that movie is not going to be bad. I don't want it to be bad. It's just every single piece of marketing I've seen for that movie until now has been the opposite of good. It's like, it's as if somebody sat there and tried to think, how do we make marketing that'll make Price not want to go to this movie? And I'm still going to go to it, but it's like, why would they make such an effort to chase people away? I just don't get it.
Yeah, I really they keep talking about it's oh no, this is how the character is. This is how he's not like that, whatever. I'm like, well then why are you showing that footage to people in your marketing if that's not representative of the character in the film? That doesn't make any sense. Like they're talking about, there's that scene that they released last week or maybe it was 2 weeks ago where he blasts through the door into Lex's office and comes and like smashes his desk. And people are like, that's not, why is Superman acting like that? Right? They don't get it. And
It's
then
like emo Superman.
and then he says, "Oh no, that's not. He's not like that all the way through the movie. No, this is whatever." I'm like, "Well, then why would you show that? Why is that what do you think that would be representative of what we're going to go see in the movie?" I think he's lying through his teeth. I think that is the Superman we're going to see. We're going to see a Superman who acts like a petulant child and is always losing his temper and smashing stuff and whatever. And that's not the Superman that I want to see. There's a reason that Superman, when you saw him in the 1970s version of Superman and, in the earlier versions that you saw of Superman, he is self-assured in his strength and in his ability to overcome evil. And so
Right.
he doesn't have to act out. He
Right.
doesn't have to yell and scream and smash through doors and flip desks over and whatever, because he knows it's not an ego thing. It's simply his knowledge. Like he's going to be able to overcome this because he's Superman. And he doesn't have to, he can be truly stoic. I don't know that Gunn knows how to write a stoic character. I think that's the problem. But
Gunn is always this kind of quirky goofball. Now, I'm not
exactly.
saying
That's not a bad thing.
it's not. There are movies like Guardians of the Galaxy was perfect for his goofball
It's
mentality.
incredible. It's a fantastic film. It will go down in history, I'm sure, for years as being his best, if not one of his best films. It's really good.
Especially the first one, and I think
Yeah.
that's where his strength lies. Uh, you know, Superman, I think, needs something else. A lot of times, we're getting people that they either they don't have emotions like regular people. I don't know how to explain it, but they're sort of out of touch with with more what could get audiences excited, especially a character like Superman and what he stands for. And I don't think that James Gunn is incompetent or a complete fool, but I kept worrying from day one that he would do some quirky, weird crap. And nothing I've seen until now has given me the feeling that he hasn't done quirky, weird crap. The same from day one, the same reasons why I said that I didn't think he was right for this. I still feel like every bit of marketing I've seen until now has only confirmed my suspicions. And with that being said, I'll still go to the movie and try to have a good time. I hope it's good. I don't want it to be bad, but man, I just don't know what to tell you.
Somebody is Read by Nature asked, has it been confirmed that they specifically subvert the American way phrase? As far as I can tell, yes. There's numerous places in the marketing, and including if you go and look at their IMDb page, which is going to be strictly controlled by the studio and reps for the studio. It says truth, justice, and the human way. And so I'm quite confident that is going to be part of the film. There will never be mention of truth, justice, and the American way. And that's fine with me. It means I won a $20 bet with Dark Hour.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. I think that like if you have an exam and you're handing it in, and one of the things your answers was like the human way instead of the American way, you're losing a bunch of points on the spot. You know what I mean? That is not, and not only are you losing points, the whole mentality of even writing it that way is a huge red flag.
Yep, and they're gonna try and this is he's learning the human way. He's gonna be emotional, and he's gonna be compassionate, and he's gonna cry. That's gonna be the human way. So I do really want this to be good. I want it to be an enjoyable movie. I have already gotten several impressions from people online who claim to have seen it, that this movie is mid at best. I see Isabobos was saying Gunn says his version of Superman has not come yet into his own. He wants Supes to have room to grow. That's stupid. that's
Yeah,
dumb. I'm
I agree.
sorry. It's dumb. Superman is supremely powerful. If he hasn't learned these lessons by the time he's as old as he is in this story, he's a man baby. And I don't want a man baby Superman.
Yep, I agree. I agree with everything you said, and my concerns are exactly everything
Yep.
that you mentioned. But nothing much we could do. All we can do
Yep.
is just go see it and hope it's going to be good. We're seeing it early. We're seeing it before it officially releases.
Yeah.
So
There's a big preview date on the 8th, and that's also the same day that the all the review embargoes are dropped that day. So
great. So I'm going to work as quickly as I can. I mean, first of all, that night we can talk about the movie that we saw, and then afterwards, I'm actually going to work on a review and try to post it the next morning. But yeah, that's
I will
the
say too.
situation.
We'll wait and see what happens. But I know that potentially Tom from Midnight's Edge After Dark may be reaching out to you, Price. We might be doing something where we'll get started with reviewing Superman over on Mead, and then roll on over into the Night Owl immediately after.
Oh,
So
it's not a bad idea.
we'll see. We discussed it just a bit earlier this evening after Mead. So because he'll if we all go see the movie, our premiere times and everything like that, we're not going to get back in time to do Mead at the normal time on Tuesday.
Yeah, I understand
It's
that.
going to be super late. So we might start really late over there and then maybe roll right in over here. But I'm sure he'll reach out to you regarding that. Anuminum says the human way is a tiger lady man holding a price puppet.
Hey, that tiger lady, she seemed pleasant enough.
Yeah.
She wanted to hold my puppet, and I wasn't against the idea.
Yes. And he would also like us to recognize truth, justice, and alligator Alcatraz as the new phrase.
I don't know why they like. I sometimes feel like, if nothing else, like Trump and his administration, they know how to troll people. They know how to come up with this ridiculous thing. Alligator Alcatraz. Anyhow, yeah, I think that we've had a good stream and we enjoyed hanging out with everybody here. And maybe we should. Do you have the lists of people? Anybody I could say bye to, or you could say bye to them? I don't mind.
I can get you a list.
And by the way,
here.
happy 4th to everybody. It actually is the 4th now, technically. At least on the East Coast, it is. Let me read. This is, I guess, the Rumble side. So we have Dude Bro Seth 420, Elijah Fire, Empress and M, Elizabeth Quince, who supports this channel on Rumble. We appreciate that. Double R Star, nice to see you here again. Bluebird 1124, Fugoff, XMF Click, Avapor 1, Aberschild, Zelbo Main, Timothy Tincliffe, Dom888, Billy's Badass Burritos, Angel Sashin, Kivo1961, Honest Lee, Billy's Badass Burritos, Slots.
I got a double shout out for Billy's Badass Burritos in there. And then, and we also have a couple others joined the chat there too. So, hey there, everybody. Rich Potato Zero. Looks like maybe I missed that. Tony327. Anyway, over on YouTube, I lost a little bit of my chat because I had a window that got closed on me, but I think I got most everybody, except maybe just like the first 10 minutes or so. So, Tim Hayes, the Dead Man, the Highlander, Johnny Redman, Istophobos, Jonathan Conroy, Mary White, Mur Rockstro, DJ Playnice, Caleb Levine, Ace Hanlon, Empress NM, Phantom Outsider, Dave C, Marks 47, Zun RJ5, Amelia Bedelia, Scribe Light, Ercole DeStefano, Read by Nature, Marla Sharondoff, Keely Chow, Hang Solo, Stephen Mack, Karate Werewolf, and Rebecca Gold.
We do have a few additional super chats.
Facutino 93 as well. I missed that one.
We have a few super chats that I missed.
Yeah, and a couple of gifts as well. Yeah, so we can wrap up with that.
I'm going to go look at that right now. So let's look at this. Can we see it? Yes. So we have the Dead Man we saw before, Operation Northwoods, and the Dead Man says for $1.99, Johnny Carson, I did not know that.
I did not know that.
I did not know that. This parrot is dead.
It's shuffled off this mortal coil. It's joined the bleeding choir invisible. This is an ex-parrot.
And then Karate Werewolf, I love the name Karate Werewolf, sent 5 Price of Reason Live gift memberships. Thank you very much for the man with a wonderful name. Karate Werewolf is just a great, great screen name. I have nothing to say. You did really good. You did good. And thank you, the Dead Man. You've been very generous tonight, and I really appreciate that. And I appreciate everybody. It's the Phobos and anybody else who contributed and did stuff. I'm very, very appreciative. It's very nice of you all, and thank you so much. Yeah. And I guess, and if I forgot any names or anybody, I apologize. I'll get you next time. Yep. There was something that I saw before. There was something I saw. Oh, okay. The New Order has a song, "Age of Consent." It's an amazing tune. Which one is "Age of Consent"?
Oh, I don't know.
I know. What's it called? I feel so extraordinary. Which one is that one?
You're asking the wrong person. Yeah.
True faith. True something. True faith. In any case, that's the best I could do in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Hopefully that was good enough.
I didn't get to ask you. Did you finish Ironheart?
The truth is, I didn't. I watched more and I fell asleep. I tried. I was so tired. I didn't get to the part with Mephisto at the end. I know I have to see it just because of how bad it is. I watched more than what we talked about. Like I watched more. Like I started watching the 3rd episode and I still fell asleep.
Oh, you hear that, everybody? It is a cure for insomnia. Go watch some Ironheart if you need to get some rest this evening. Or
I know people were like so excited to see the crap that's in the show, but honestly, with that 3rd episode, it was like it's already difficult to watch it. It's really, really crappy. But that's
it's appalling. Yeah. And make sure I forgot one thing. I realized that I saw in my little notes there. The ridiculous like they try and make all these things so serious, and then there's the whole thing where her armor gets messed up by Ezekiel Stain. She crashes into the sign for the White Castle, and all the letters fall off except the letters that spell ouch. And I just wow. Okay.
That sounds cringe. The whole
Oh,
show is cringe.
it was bad. It's so bad. So bad.
It was.
Ah,
Maybe now I'll go watch this Mephisto thing just so I can get it out. So if anybody asks me, I can just say that I saw it.
yes, I saw it.
I'm so close. I'm so close. I'm like,
I want to forget it already.
I'm in the middle of episode 3. I will watch the thing until the end so I can just do a check mark on that stupid thing and never think about it again. Yeah, it was New Order True Faith. Thank you, Tomahawk 511. I feel like Tomahawk 511 was quiet until now.
Yeah. Yes.
And
Well,
now is-
don't forget when you're finishing that last episode with Riri as Iron Shart. Don't forget that they reportedly spent nearly $300 million on this series.
So embarrassing. It is so embarrassing. But yeah, that's what they do these days.
And then they just had Sacha Baron Cohen show up in like whatever the hell he had on that day, and be Mephisto.
He probably still collected a check. He probably was like,
sure
"What
he
is
did.
this crap?" And collected the check and left.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think that this is a good point to wrap up our stream. I want to wish everybody a happy 4th of July.
Yes.
And whether you're in the U.S. or anywhere else. And today is Thursday, right? I think it's today Thursday.
It is now.
Yeah. Okay. It is. Oh,
Or
it's,
it was.
It's Friday.
Now it's Friday.
That's actually Friday. Yes. We know the days here in the Night Owl.
Thursday. Now it's
so
Friday. At least
it's
in
Friday. And after this holiday weekend, we're going to see you on Tuesday, and we will be talking Superman.
Indeed, we will be talking all about Superman. So we will finally know the wave function will have collapsed. We will know whether the cat is alive or dead. Just to bring it back to the earlier movie clip there, we will know whether Superman is a win or a fail on Tuesday. So yeah.
All right. So I guess we'll see you then.
Yes, thanks for being here, everybody. Thanks for joining us over there on Rumble and on YouTube. And we will see you again on Tuesday. Take care.
Bye.